rockin' intro, wouldn't you
I
say
like
that?
that one. I haven't heard that one in a while.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even though they're random, some pop up with more frequency than others, and that one in
The algorithm
particular.
has preferences.
That's right, it does. The other algorithm doesn't write hard rock DrawBomb theme songs quite as much as the other ones. But you know, speaking of the algorithm, that's not a good segue. I was gonna say welcome. This is another episode of DrawBomb. It has nothing to do with the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't like us.
The algorithm says that we should welcome you.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the algorithm. Welcome to DrawBomb. DrawBomb is, you know, that lovely show where we try to draw things and it blows up in our face. That's the tagline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
How was that? Do you think that was clever? Do you think?
Is this the 112th episode?
You know what? I don't. It's 112 on the actualness, but I haven't fixed the interface. There we go. Now it's correct. I always forget to do that one. I was on a roll with that for a while, and then last episode I forgot to do it till like the very end, and well, we fixed that one a little bit faster, but yeah. Episode 112. That's right.
Wow. That's so many of them.
That's
Bubba Rocket and Leviathan down in the chat already. Bubba Rocket says, "Oh wow, I totally forgot it was Monday. Just completely divorced from reality. You and me both."
Yeah, I actually kind of forgot it was Monday too at the beginning. I was like,
every Monday we have the show. I'll be like sitting around at like 6 o'clock, 6:30, and I'm like, oh shit, DrawBomb.
it's the show. Fuck. I know it kind of creeps up on you, doesn't it? You're like, oh yeah, here's another one. But yeah, here we are again, another DrawBomb for your pipes.
Good to be back.
Good to be back. Brandon.
Leviathan Den says, "Oh my goodness, golly gosh, it's the DrawBomb." That's true. That is
That's
accurate.
us.
What an honor to be among all of you. You are part of the DrawBomb collective. You are the DrawBomb.
Right.
We're all the DrawBomb.
We are all
Bellarok says-
DrawBomb.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's it. I was just repeating what you said, like a cult.
Okay, perfect. Bellarok says, DrawBomb is having a Groundhog Day loop. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, when you yeah, it's episode 111 all over again every week. We just say the same
My
stuff.
Mondays replay. All the other days are normal, but my Mondays replay the same.
Yeah, what's that about? It's so weird. It's like if Groundhog Day was just like you would go throughout the week and it'd be normal, and then every Monday you just had to live a certain day of your life over every day or every week. That'd be an interesting premise. Like, oh great, I have to go take my fucking driver's exam again. Okay, I'm 16.
Never planned anything for Mondays then. Nothing shitty.
Yeah. And then everyone's just like, where were you Monday? And he's just like, look, I can't. You would never believe me if I said it.
Boy,
So-
oh boy, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I
told you.
work for the Department of Defense. I'm working on some secret shit. You can't hear about it. That's why I'm where I am on Mondays. Like, wow, you're a terrible secret
Right,
keeper.
You're right, I don't believe it. Yeah, this episode 111 again and again, week after week, and we're back.
We're back, whether you like it or not.
I feel like you were about to ask me something.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you how your week's been.
Been great. Been a good week. We've been busy. Morgan had her birthday, so we celebrated that, and then we celebrated some Father's Day festivities yesterday. For all the dads out there, happy Father's Day.
Shout out to the dads.
Yeah, been good. Been good.
Cool.
Just been busy, but that's all right. I don't mind that.
Hey, it's not bad being busy as long as it's not like stressful.
Right.
Sometimes
How about
busy
you,
can
Ian?
just
How
mean
was
you're doing
your
stuff.
week?
You know, it was. I mean, nothing changes for me. I don't leave the house. I do have plans to leave the house a little bit this week and make a trip to Philadelphia if I can.
Oh hell yeah.
But yeah, you know,
I feel like you're underplaying it. I've seen a lot of bottle episodes and shows and that are very interesting. So
oh, well, yeah, but I mean, what I'm
bottle
doing
episode is an episode of like a sitcom
Yeah.
where the
Where
whole
it's-
episode takes place in like one room.
yeah, like the classic
location.
Community episode, and they kind of got the
Happens in
name of
about
it.
every Seinfeld.
Yeah, they
Or
got
every,
the name.
every Seinfeld, every sitcom episode.
Yeah, usually every sitcom has one. They got the name of it from like I think they were writing the Star Trek episode, and it was just all in the ship, and they were like, yeah, it's like a little ship in a bottle or something like that, or maybe it wasn't Star
Oh.
Trek specifically, but It's called the bottle episode because a episode is like your little ship in a bottle, and
If
it all
it
takes
was
place in there.
Star Trek, I mean, there honestly could be an episode where they get their ship put into a giant bottle by an alien.
That's true.
And then the alien's like a little kid or something. Like, that's right up their alley.
That would totally be a thing
Original
they
Star
do.
Trek.
That'd be probably a great episode of Star Trek too, because those are the fun ones. Is when they were like, "Hey, what about this weird shit? Like, what if we did this weird concept?"
They're like, hey, let's do a Twilight Zone episode instead of Space
Yeah.
Adventures this week.
And you know what? I love it. I love it. Well, because like I like when they get metaphysical. It's like, well, the whole universe is there. What if anything happened? And then they just kind of like go down these little rabbit holes, and those are super fun. Good stuff. But yeah, nothing happens here, so I just worked all week. Been working. No bottle episodes for me.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds nice. Has it been, not to get into weather talk, because I feel like that's the last tier of boring conversation, but
Oh yeah.
has it been boiling hot there as well?
Been warm. It's been warm, and then the next day it was just pretty chilly. Except like it's mostly been kind of like how it is in a desert, where you know like it's very hot out on the sand, but then when you get in the shade, it gets really cold. It's kind of like that here right now.
Of humidity going on over there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like today it was pretty hot out in the sun, but the moment you stepped in the shade, it would like dropped like 10 degrees, and you're like, oh, I'm a little chill. I could use a sweater now. But like then you step out in the sun, you're like, tank top it is. But then you get back in the shade, and you're like, ooh,
I like that. I like
bring that sweater on.
And then you step back in the sun, and you're like, I better take this sweater off. And then
you step back in the shade, and then the temperature differential is too extreme, so you crack and explode.
Are you made of glass in this scenario?
I am.
Okay.
I'm a pottery clay. So yeah.
Right.
That's been my life, you know, and that's been the
Sounds
weather.
good.
Yeah, can't complain. I haven't even done anything interesting. I've just worked on stuff. Like I've just worked on projects. Like I haven't watched anything. I haven't like played any games. But yeah.
That's all right.
What a fun guy Ian is.
Your work ethic is unmatched, my friend.
I don't got anything else going on.
Bubba Rocka says, there's no way Ian can remember what he said last week well enough to make a Groundhog Day episode. That's
so true.
Fair.
I uploaded the episode to YouTube the night after because I'm trying to be more consistent about that now that we are caught up on the YouTube channel, and I couldn't remember what I said the night before, so I was just like, fuck it, this episode's not getting a description either.
How many days of repeat do you think it would take for you to realize? Would you get it on the first day?
Like the first day I'd have to repeat it, or like I would have to like how?
Okay, like on your first repeat, would you be like, oh shit, I'm in a Groundhog Day, or would you just be like, huh, and not realize until like it's like the fourth day, and you're like, wait a minute.
Wait, this is the same. I mean, for here, God, you know, that's a tough one to say because like
you just start to get mad. You're like, why did my files keep getting deleted that I worked on yesterday?
Yeah, like what the hell happened in my computer?
And the clock on my computer's broken.
The fuck? Because I don't like really see people. Like I see my family, but you know, that's it. So it could be a while. Like especially if it was like a day where I didn't see my family just happened to be busy that day. Because sometimes they are, and I just like. I walk around the house like a abandoned dog, just going like, "Huh, where did everybody go?"
You're like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
Yeah, exactly. I just start like, you know, put on everyone's shaving cream, dancing around and like eating all the food.
There you go. Sounds great.
Mm-hmm. I know you're talking about before he realizes everyone's out of the house and he's just like, "Hey, Buzz." Mom,
fucking with your shit.
Yeah. That's an exact line from the movie too, the Christmas classic Home Alone. Macaulay Culkin, just messing around with Buzz's stuff. Like he's like poking his spider. He's like, Buzz, fucking with your shit.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers that classic scene.
Love that one. Also in the chat, Leviathan Den says V Rising is super fun. Top K, yeah.
Okay. I'm not interested in that game. It's just
you don't like the crafting.
I'm not. You know, we've already talked about my boredom of the survival craft 'em ups, and I even like got us to buy a new survival craft 'em up this week but you know that's going to be the exception to the rule.
Well, we do have a small dedicated server if you change your mind, but I understand.
For V Rising?
Not yours. Yeah, it's not your style. I get it.
Like, is it basically just like Valheim, but it's kind of like a Diablo?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it's not something I'm gonna spend my money on. Like, I already spent my money that I have allocated for like the month, so.
Right. I do not blame you.
Yeah.
But what else? What else? We haven't killed drugs in a little while, man.
We haven't, not in a few days. It's been a few days. It feels like it's been longer, but it's only been
I know.
like since Thursday, I want to say. I've been editing your. Wow, you can clearly tell we have so much to talk about from this episode from the way we're spinning our gears. No, but
Oh, yeah.
I have been editing together a little Let's Play of you playing Resident Evil 4. I can talk a little bit about that because that's not on like an NDA or nothing.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I've got about fucking like 50. Now it's like up to like 54 minutes, something like that. I think might be just 52. But I've got like about almost an hour's worth of footy cut together, and it's like.
In the game?
Do you remember when you fought that guy on like the machine gun that's like kind of spinning around in circles?
Yes.
Right there.
Okay.
Perhaps like a little bit after that, but like pretty much there, like that area.
That's a great moment in the game. Very intense fight.
Super intense fight.
It
it's funny how.
You played the right way.
It's funny how like the VR just like oversimplify that whole fight, whereas in like the PS2, it's not like a hard fight in the PS2 version, but it's not like it's easy. Like you still like, there's so much more. Like there's also another thing that's really funny, and I knew this cutting the footage together, so I'm making fun of it as I make fun of you a lot in this particular video. But I don't think it's ever unwarranted or rude or mean or anything like that. But it's me just sort of
deserve it all.
Yeah. But those guys with like the giant Wolverine claws, you know?
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah, in the game they're blind and you're not like they can't see you, so you have to like walk around slowly and like use your like not run and use your like sprint mechanic very like sparingly and like
I didn't even realize that.
Yep, and there's bells also hidden around every area where you fight those guys. There's bells in the room, and you're supposed to actually shoot those bells to lure them over, because then they attack the bells, and then you like bang, 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 bang. Which you never do any of those things in the Let's Play. I didn't realize
they were blind. I just fought them.
Yeah, I make fun of. I like poke that out. I like point that out very explicitly, just to. Sort of, and like it just goes to show like the VR because you can like in the regular Resident Evil 4 version it's tank controls, so like you have to turn around very slowly or you can like quick do a 180, but that's like it. And then also like you can't move and aim, whereas in the Resident Evil VR version not only can you like move and aim, but like you're aiming with your actual hand. There's so many layers of like the game has been made easier, and it's not a bad thing. It's very funny how like they didn't obviously they're not going to rework the game to fit that. Like that's just so much, like that's literally just reinventing the wheel for like a little tiny fun release that isn't really worth spending a lot of money on. But it's fun. It's a fun game. It's just funny how like those like the game's mechanics were the game was designed around these very specific mechanics, and then like just having the ability to do like these extra little things that VR can do just completely breaks down some of the difficulty level in a lot of it.
The whole
yeah.
concept, but it's still a very fun VR title. If someone has a Quest, I recommend it. It's relatively cheap for what you get out of it, so recommended. Oh, our cams are frozen.
Yeah, I fixed it. I saw that. Yeah, I don't know why the computer does that. Like if I have a video playing on a screen and like I click a certain number of windows away, the videos would just like stop moving. Like I'll still hear the sound, but the videos will stop moving, and I feel like it didn't used to do that before. Like I feel like the videos used to play no matter what tab active they were, like whatever app. Like it's like any applications, like YouTube, it's Discord video, I don't know. So if I have to like click like 3 buttons at any point on like the cameras are just gonna freeze, which is unfortunate. Fortunate thing about all this. I've googled it actually to be like, hey, how do I stop? Oh, looks like our internet. Ooh,
are we
it's
dropping?
back. we dropped for like a hot second. And, like we took a little
We're
dip.
dropping like a hot potato.
We slipped on a banana peel with the internet. That's fine though. We're back to green. We're back at good levels. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to make the computer not freeze the video. I looked into it. Is it like a power saver setting or something like that? I couldn't figure it out. Like, it's so hard to Google specific things sometimes because you're like, hey, why does my computer stop videos if I click a different window enough times? Like, well, how do you search that?
Right. It's hard. It's hard, like building the sentence in a way that the internet can understand what you're asking.
Yeah, or in like a way that
results you want.
Or like even in a way where like somebody else hasn't asked that same question, but they mean an entirely different thing. Like when some people say like, "Hey, my video is frozen," like they're asking, and like they could be asking the exact same question, but they could be asking actually still like an entirely different question. You know, it's like the amount.
Say when I'm really trying to troubleshoot something, I spend the majority of the time just finding how to search it correctly.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah.
Couple things from the chat. Leviathan Den says, "What build and craft game did you snag?" Interdimensional Choo Choo, of course, which we haven't tried yet. I forget what the game's actually called.
Void Train.
Void Train. A train in the void.
That's right.
So it's, you know, the name is fitting.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Catchy.
Yeah. So is that. And then, let's see. Yeah, Leviathan Den, you bought it too. What are you doing?
Oh, you freaking dumb.
So yeah, what? I know you said you haven't really. Not that this has to be the whole show always, but a couple things I've been watching and doing. We've been watching Ted Lasso some more. We haven't gotten very far in, but it's very wholesome.
It's a very wholesome
sometimes
show.
Like. Part of me wants to like, my body wants to like reject the fact that it's trying to just be super sweet at every turn and be like, this is cheesy, but then I'm like, ah.
So yes, I agree. During season 2, they're gonna push that even harder. So like during season 2, they kind of like, they broke me a couple times during season 2 where I was just like, come on guys. But overall still very, very good show, very refreshing of that wholesomeness. You gotta love it.
You gotta.
But also they do some things in season 2 that, so like season 1 I think is pretty much like a perfect season of television. I think they just kind of nailed the trajectory of it. Season 2 I think is also very good. But there's like, so when they first made season 2, they had like 8 episodes, and then Apple was like, hey, we want 2 more episodes, and they were like, oh fuck, we wrote,
that's annoying,
shot the whole season. So they like made 2 extra episodes, and like you can tell which episodes they are that they didn't have like originally in the slate because they just don't fit. Like they're just kind of like they don't fit in with the story quite as well, and one feels really weird. It's like definitely, I think it's an interesting episode, and I think it's cool what it decides to delve into, but it's also I think the worst episode of the show. Okay. And then there's the other episode, which is, I mean, it's not a spoiler to say, it's like the Christmas episode. There's a Christmas episode for season 2.
Way to ruin the whole... Christmas happens in this world?
I know.
Oh my god.
Crazy. That's not all that happens.
I don't think I can watch this show anymore now that I know what happens. It's
ruined.
Like, I can pretty much figure out the rest of the plot based on the fact that there's an episode that takes place during Christmas.
You know the whole show, beginning to end. You've got it figured out. So yeah, so season 1, I think pretty much a damn near perfect season of television, if not a perfect season of television. Doesn't mean it's like it's like the best show ever, but like for the show it is, it's pretty much done perfectly.
Accomplishing its goal.
Yeah, exactly. And then season 2, again, you know, those unnecessary episodes, but overall still a very, very good season, and the way it goes, like the arc of the season is interesting to watch unfold, and like it's also kind of worth rewatching, although you know that's a lot, it's a big ask for an hour-long TV show.
I'm on my 3rd Ted Lasso rewatch, and
that's
I'm really
right.
Starting to notice the subtleties. Did you know he had a mustache the whole time?
What? Dude, yeah. Did you know
he's right there in front of us
that he's all about like responsibility and friendship?
What?
Being a good person. But yeah.
You know that elasto is also a tool made out of rope.
That's crazy. And it's used to pull something closer to gather together.
Or together. That's not the right sound.
Oh, that's a shame.
My headphones are doing some weird things.
Uh-oh.
But we'll deal with that later.
Okay. Well, so you know what? I did have a game I played not recently. I've been pretty much finished with it for a couple weeks now, but I haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Ooh, I'd love to hear.
I figure I should. It's Hard Space Shipbreakers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I like it. That's my review.
Great review.
No, it's fun. It's like a game where you take apart spaceships, and you know the spaceships. You gotta take them apart carefully because that's dangerous work and they can explode. And I found out that
ships so volatile.
Why are they hard to break? But it turns out shipbreaking is a real thing, by the way, that real people do, just not in space. But like that's a real job that people do. And it is super fucking dangerous.
Like boats.
Yeah, like big ass like rigs, like oil tankers and stuff. I'm sure.
Yeah, I
like
guess that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to get rid of that stuff.
Gotta get rid of those boats. Can't just sink them.
You can't just push it out to sea or sink it. Well, I mean,
they do actually do that a lot.
Easier.
They do actually do that. They call that scuttling a ship. They do that with like old ships. But usually what they do is when they scuttle a ship, they actually calculate where's the best place to do it, because then the ship sinks to the bottom and becomes an artificial reef for like new marine wildlife to sort of propagate with.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's cool stuff. But they are like eventually people do need to sort of get the resources back from these ships. Like, you know, they're made of precious metal and things like that. So they got to get that stuff out of there and to use in more ships.
You don't want just, you know, you can only do that so many times. I know it's a big ocean out there, but
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, there's like certain things you can't sort of like, that's the stuff, like the stuff you can't refurbish gets turned into the artificial reef that they scuttle, I'm sure. And then like, you know, you got to take out the computer systems and, you know, you strip that ship bare before you scuttle
strip it before the scuttle, yeah.
Yeah,
you strip and then you scuttle.
You strip and you scuttle, yeah. And it's dangerous work. They actually
that's my favorite. That's my favorite dance at weddings that plays that
the strip and scuttle
steps along the way. The old strip and scuttle.
So take your ship out to the sea. Boom, 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 boom. Fill it up with explosives. Boom, 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 boom. Blow the ship up in strategic points. Boom, 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 boom. Now it becomes an artificial reef. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's the strip and scuttle. Boom, 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 boom. It's the strip and scuttle.
Keep an eye out for the Strip and Scuttle Part 2 coming to you real soon.
Turn to the left. Oh boy. That's a deep cut.
Good stuff. Yeah.
So they actually link to a documentary in the credit sequence of the game. When you beat the game, they're like, hey, this game is based on fucking real ass shipbreakers. Here's a documentary you can watch. And I was like, oh cool, I'll watch that eventually, and I have not yet. But I officially got to the credit sequence like 3 days ago, but I've been like basically finished with the game. Like you can beat the game and then you have the option of keep on playing or, you know, go through the end game. So I finally did that because I was just like, okay, I'm done with this. I've seen it all. I've seen everything there is in this game officially. Like I don't think there's anything that can surprise me. Yeah, I've broken every variant of ship has been broked. It's cool though. Like I thought it was gonna be a slightly different game when I initially like I've been following it for a while, because I followed the one writer on Twitter, even though I haven't used Twitter in like 3 years, but like the game came out before that, I think. Where it's come out, I think it came out in 2019, I want to say.
Oh really? I didn't realize it's been out so long.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that to confirm. I feel like it came out around then. 2020, halfway through 2020. So it's, you know,
Okay.
yeah, I was a year off, but it's not too far off. But yeah, I followed the one writer of it on Twitter, and they're very cool, and they like, you know, the game seemed very interesting from conceptually, and it was, but it wasn't quite what I was hoping for. And this sounds very nitpicky. Like, it's a very fun game, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great Zen game. Like, I would just like get high, play music, and just play the game for like 8 hours at a time.
Right.
Which is great. Which is also why I'm so done with it, and like I've just beaten the shit out of it, is because I would do that. Like, I thought the game was gonna be, so I thought for sure that like it was gonna be the kind of thing where like I'd have to like turn off circuits and like cut wires here and there, and like that would keep like certain parts of the ship from exploding because of like gas in this section, etc., etc. And there's a little bit of that, but it's not quite to the level of detail that I thought. Like, the stuff you're gonna cut in the game is marked with big yellow blocks, and it's like, you're gonna cut this, and then like for the most part you can pretty much take everything apart by cutting those yellow blocks like in the right order and like just pulling them apart.
Okay.
Which is fine, and that's fun, but it wasn't like I was expecting something slightly more.
I have to stop you for one hot second.
Okay.
Both webcams are frozen, and there's no background music, is what the chat is reporting.
Oh, the background music was between songs, I believe, or it was just quiet, because the background music is quiet and then it gets quieter when we talk. So if it was like a low point in the like the background music is playing, it's a little faint.
Okay.
Pretty low. I turned it down. No, it's okay. I turned the background music down a while ago, just because I. Oh, okay, yeah. Captain Chiba says they hear it. They're just currently deaf in one ear, which is fine. That happens. I did turn the music down because I was watching through when I was uploading all the episodes to YouTube. I was watching through, and I felt like the music was just a little too loud.
Okay.
I'm still tinkering though. You know, because like I want the music to be there, but I don't want the music. I don't want it to be like, because like a lot of the music is like very cool sounding. You know what I mean? Like, not like that's some cool sounding song, but like, you know, it's,
there's a quote from the creator, the composer himself. Music is very cool sounding. There's this artist statement.
But like, you know, that's the vibe. It's supposed to be like, you know, this is cool music you're listening to. Like, there's like songs you hear that like that kind of, you know, that's the vibe it's going for. So there's some of that in the background music for this show, and like if that's really loud, then it comes across like we're trying to be a cool show, and we're not. We're not a cool show.
What? Since when?
I don't think we're a cool show. I don't strike.
Talk to my agent.
I don't strike me as a particular like radical dude. So.
I think you're pretty radical.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
I once saw you eat an entire pizza while riding a skateboard, and it was wild.
I thought you were gonna say I once saw you eat an entire breakfast sampler in a whole meal.
That would be even more radical.
No, you have seen me do that though.
Eat entire breakfast sampler where?
At like that cafe when I visited you in Michigan. Me and Ryan visited you in Michigan, and like we went to that cafe.
Right.
It's where he came up with the idea for, hey, you gonna eat that, or are you gonna finish that?
Okay. Yes. It's all coming back to me.
Yeah. I got a whole breakfast sampler, and I was like, this is so much food, and then I ate it all.
Yes. Well, I mean, forgive me if it's hard to keep track of the time that you ordered so much food and then ate it all, because that was every place we went.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I do that a lot, especially on vacation. I'm just like, I'm gonna fucking engorge myself.
You're like, hi, I'll have 7 entrees, please.
And I do my best to eat
as an appetizer.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Yeah, what can I say? I love to eat.
No, I do too. It's like one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah. It's super dope to eat food, bro.
Love eating food, dude.
Dude, I fucking love eating food, dude. Robin Williams quote. No, it's okay. I don't, what I was talking about.
God damn it.
I always.
Funny piece.
Rip Torn in peace. I know a good hook reference will always get you.
That's kind of obscure.
You know what's funny is I remember, like, this is an old reference. This is another deep cut, but I remember like way back in the day when YouTube sketch comedy was like an up and coming, like, you know, intriguing thing for a brief moment. And Good Neighbor, they had that one sketch where it's like the amazing meal, and it's like basically making fun of the scene from Hook with the imaginary dinner, and like the guy's like, look, cooked you guys a huge deal, and or a
actually
huge meal.
I think. Oh yeah, it is Good Neighbor. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah, and like what Kyle ended up being on. Two of the guys from Good Neighbor ended up being like Saturday Night Live guys, right?
All three. Two of them are on it, and one of them writes for it. I mean, they all write for it, but
yeah, but Kyle.
Nick wrote for it.
Yeah, Kyle left though. I think he just recently. Yeah, I think he just recently did like his finale, like his. Like I watched a video recently where
he was
it was
there for
like,
a long time though.
About 8 years. Yeah. Which is, I mean, crazy, like, to see a person who you're like, oh my god, that's that person from the YouTube sketch comedy series that I used to love,
right.
And see them on SNL. It's kind of wild. Same with, like...
That's kind of Lonely Island.
Lonely Island and Derek Comedy.
Started on... Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, Lonely Island started on
YouTube's.
Channel 101.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If it's any easier, you could... Oh, you're already doing it on the same layer. I was gonna say you could do it on a layer above and like throw a multiply filter on it.
Well,
so it gives some watercolor to everything.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's true. But doing it like
Curious how that would look, because that'd be cool to have that two-tone like the bomb like underwater different color.
Well, I unfortunately I can't change layer properties because I am not an operator on the.
Well, there you go. It's a multiply layer now because
oh boy,
you know, you asked nicely, and me, who's in charge, said sure.
Thank you. Look at that. There's that fish. Now it's all dark. Now it's been multiplied.
Bring up the.
Yeah, I'll have to color over it in a lighter blue.
Yeah, something like that.
We'll do this.
Yeah, just
like,
a little peek behind the curtain there for the audience. You know, multiply layers. Sorry to use all that.
If you don't know how it works mathematically in a computer program, if you add a multiply, what you're doing is you're multiplying the values, and it ends up making it so that darker values bring the color, like they could darken the color of everything, but in the hue of the color, if you see like digital artists, they use multiply layers very frequently as shadows, because you pick one shadow color and you paint over everything with your multiply layer, and then look at that, bing bang boom, you've put a shadow that's consistent on everything.
There you have it, folks. You too can be a digital artist, and that's what everyone wants to be.
That's art as explained by a Brooklynite who is currently going through puberty and reviews puberty and then puberty again, just like over and over.
He has Groundhog Day puberty.
Yeah. Hey.
I am taller.
Hey. What's the deal? Gosh. You know what's funny is I when I was tinkering around in the Unreal Engine, they have like nodes set up in it. Like a lot of programs are using node systems nowadays because I guess that's the future. And the nodes are cool. I don't know if they're better than layers. I think nodes are handy for like procedural things, but as for other things, it can become a pain. That voice doesn't really work when you're actually talking technical. I know it doesn't at all, which is funny. So I was looking through the nodes, and there's like a multiply node in Unreal, and you can actually like break it apart and then like look into that node and see, because like it's constructed out of other nodes. So when you use the multiply node, or like you can break apart the multiply node in the Unreal Engine and actually like see the math that goes into making like a multiply layer in like Photoshop, because it's the same math. So like I looked through it and it's like they fucking it's confusing as shit is I guess what I'm trying to say. I think like what I mean,
You shouldn't be breaking open nodes. You're gonna find things you won't like.
You got that right. But yeah, I think like they like separate the different RGB values. Okay, it's actually kind of hard to I gotta make sure I don't switch colors halfway through coloring over a fish, because then you'll lose it. Because this program it doesn't have a layer picker color upper, which is like most eyedroppers, they're picking up what's called screen color. And what that is it's picking up exactly the color you see on the screen. But if you're working in layers, it helps sometimes if you pick up what's called the layer color, which is the color that's on the actual layer. So that you know, sometimes the layer that's the color on the layer, because of opacities and like screen and like layer properties. Sometimes.
I couldn't explain this better myself, to be honest. Like, you were. Have you considered teaching?
I was gonna start a YouTube channel of tutorials.
That'd be a mean channel if it's like actually like really good information, but the guy's just like makes himself the most annoying thing to listen to.
That'd be pretty fucking funny.
This guy sucks.
God, well, here's the thing. There are like those YouTube channels where they're presenting like interesting information, and then like the person who's narrating it just has a terrible voice, and it's like, I'm so sorry. And then there's also those channels that are like both useless and also the narrator has a like those spooky channels. There's a lot of spooky channels where like they're like, check out this spooky content, and like there's one specific one. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, and I don't follow them myself. But when I was dating my girlfriend at the time, she followed them, so like their videos would pop up on the TV when she would be watching YouTube. But it would be like the top. I mean, I've already complained about this on this show. Like I've gone through this exact bit already, but I'm gonna say it again because whatever. We're here. But they're always like top 5 scariest moments caught on film. Number 5. Trail cam footage finds a person-like figure walking across the path. We don't know what this person is. I think it could be a Wendigo, but it could also be something else, like maybe a person having a good time. And that
sounds great. I don't know what your complaint is, dude.
That's like so many of their videos. It's actually, those videos are fucking hilarious unintentionally, because like so many times, like every single like spooky video, they're just like, could it be real or could it be fake? We don't know, but it's probably fake. And then they just go to the next one.
Elbow Rocket says that guy you watch who does movie reviews comes to mind. Is she talking about like
Your movie
like
sucks, I think.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was like Mr. Plinkett or something.
Oh, actually, she is probably talking about Mr. Plinkett.
Roberto. Oh wow, that's pretty great. Have you seen any movies recently? I'll mail you some pizza rolls.
you do it better like that, like weird, like there's that like quality. The jowls. I don't know. I can't do the jowls like you can.
The jowls. You have to like do marble mouth to do it. You have to let your tongue be suspended in the middle of your mouth and not touch anything.
I'll die.
Yeah, now you got it.
Oh wow, I feel so powerful.
She said yes, Plinkett.
Number 4. Number 4.
It's great. Watch Red Letter Media. They're fantastic.
They're fantastic. Did you watch their most recent thing about the Kenobi TV show?
No.
So I think Star Trek Picard broke them because they didn't hate it.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, like the whole time Jay's just like, I didn't think it was very good. Like Jay's mad at it. So like Jay doesn't like it from a technical standpoint because he thinks it's badly filmed and it's badly like put together and it's cheaply made. And then Rich and Mike both are so like just sad about Star Trek Picard that the story is decent enough in Kenobi that they actually like it. And that's like, they're like, they're both like both Rich and Mike are like, I'm glad it's made cheap because it made them have to make a better story. And then Jay's just like, sure, it's a better story, but it's not well made. And then they're just like, I don't care. I'm just so happy. I'm not mad at the story, which is very funny. Yeah, it's very in line with.
I'm not really that excited to watch it.
No, I'm not champing at the bit for it, but it's. I'm kind of on. Like, haven't seen it, so I can't agree with if it is actually a better story, but I'm kind of in the same boat as Mike and Rich, where, like, I'm not here for, like, you don't gotta have the best made shit, man. Like, you just gotta have it made, like, well enough that it's watchable, and then, like, have a good story, and, like, that's good enough for me. Like, some of the best movies are, like, fucking thrown together. Yeah.
To the viewer.
Don't insult my intelligence. Some of the best movies are just, like, thrown together. Like, one of my favorite movies is The Warriors. Like, that movie is fucking held together with duct tape. But I love that movie. So,
it's very fun.
Yeah. So I kind of see where Mike and Rich are coming from. Like, I'd rather have a thing that, like, doesn't completely bastardize the characters and you know, all that stuff. Even if it looks a little bit cheap, or it's got some dumb editing techniques that it uses, or it's, you know, looks a little bit, like, dumb at times. Like, as long as it's not, like, egregious. Like, they're those CW superhero shows, you know? Those are fucking, like...
Why do they look so cheap?
They look awful. I don't know, man.
Like the cameras they use are even, like shitty. Like,
yeah,
they're obviously not trying. Like, the visuals are just, like, the show could be great, and I would still be mad about it just because of how the cameras look.
Yeah. Like, I've been watching... Because I've been kind of doing, like, a lot of Blender and Unreal stuff, and, like, kind of, like, in DaVinci, and kind of getting into... Not like 100% like hardcore, but like a little bit into like doing VFX and things like that. I've been watching a lot of like those Corridor Crew like reacting to bad and good VFX, because I do think they're illuminating in ways, because they like do explain concepts in like VFX and like 3D that I think they explain them in a very helpful way, I think. So they're nice to learn from. So, but like I've been watching a lot of those, and they kind of like dissected one of the scenes from one of those superhero shows, and like they dissected two separate shows, like, but like same like CW, Warner Brothers, DC, like sort of like production deal though. I think it's like the same studios, and like one of the shots looks decent, but like not great, but like decent enough where like the people who were behind it did like a good enough job that like even though they didn't have the funding, they made the effect work. And then they show like another one where it's just so bad. It's just real awful the way it looks. Just truly atrocious. And it's like, whoever was shooting, like, here's the thing. I am not a director. I couldn't put together a movie, I'm sure. If you paid me $100,000 and told me to fucking make a movie, and you gave me a year to do it, which I feel like is what happens to a lot of directors.
Yeah. Make it so you make it.
Yeah, I would probably have a hard time, but I feel like I could still put together a better scene than that was more accommodating to having special effects and like the effects that they were trying to pull off than this show. I don't know. It looked really bad, and it looked like they had not taken into account at all like what the VFX artists are gonna need in order to make the shot look good, and that is so important. Is like, if you're gonna use visual effects in your movie, like setting the shot up so that it can get done, you know? Like, you can't just like shoot a scene and then be like, some guy will fucking do this on the computer then, it's okay. Like, no, like, right. you need to help that guy out, or else it's gonna look bad. Like, that's just how it's gonna be.
So when you see something like egregiously bad, how often do you think the director is like, sees it and is also like, fuck, this sucks, oh, I'll ship it, I have a quota? Or do you think a lot of them are like, I did it, my vision has been created?
I think if you work in the media, like in the medium, I think you know when a shot looks bad. I think the reaction is either like, this looks terrible, but I don't care, fucking print it, cut, print, send it, and then I got paid. Or it's, fuck, this looks awful, I got no choice. You know, I imagine it's one of the two reactions. Or maybe it is, and I'm sure there's like that Uwe Boll type who's just like, yes, this is perfect, my art is truly made. So, you know, here's the thing. I'm sure that literally any reaction possible has happened, I'm sure. To like if you were to show like every director throughout history who has directed like the same shot and told them that they made it, like they would all probably react their own way.
Yeah, that's true.
Which would be interesting. That would be an interesting. Yeah, I would love to see that though. Like we've revived 80 classic film directors, and we've shown them all a terrible TV show scene that looks awful, and we've told them that they've directed this, and between their revival and their death. So let's see how Stanley Kubrick reacts to this one.
I would like to see. I think it'd be fascinating to be able to watch the faces of the director and some of the main actors involved when they're watching the final cut for the first time.
The actors,
it's too late to go back and do anything, and it's
the actors,
this shits.
Yeah,
I would love to see that. Like, I would pay money to see like all the actors and Cats at the red carpet event watching it the first time.
Here's the thing. I feel like I have a few friends who are actors, and like they have no shame. Like they are not afraid. Like they're just like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they shouldn't be ashamed with like what they did, but what the movie ended up doing using them.
No, but I like they just I don't like I mean you do hear about those actors who are just like, oh, I can't watch myself on film. I had a sex scene. I had to look away. And that's like I 100% understand that. Like I can't. I'm glad I'm editing a Let's Play of you playing Resident Evil right now, because I would hate to
it's gonna be awkward
together.
When you get to the sex scene portion.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful. But
really
like
breaks TOS, I think.
It does. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like figure out a very respectful way to blur it. But editing like something that has my voice in it, like I would fucking just want to kill myself. I would want to roll up into a little Metroid ball and like off the Grand Canyon.
You edited our animated feature.
I did, yeah. It was hard. There was so much where I was just like, fuck, can we just remove me from the scene?
You did a great job.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You were the best part of DrawBomb.
Aw, no, that's not true. We've already established.
You established that.
Yeah, well, you didn't watch all the episodes. I did.
I lived them, baby.
That's true. You were there in the fucking driver's seat, or the other one, the passenger seat. Well, you were both, because if you were, I'm like a terrible thing, and you're experiencing it firsthand.
Yeah, I'm the first level of audience.
I'm a traumatic event. You're the trauma victim. That sounds terrible. But no, I just would hate to edit something with my voice in it.
I get it. Yeah.
So like, but like the actor friends I know, like they don't. I mean, for the most part, they just didn't give a shit. Like they were just like, whatever, on the next job.
Right, I get all that, but I mean, I imagine if you're part of a project, you're hoping it will be something you'll like want to brag about, and, like add to your reel, and like and then you, or just be something people like. I'm sure the main goal is money, but like if you go to the thing after you did the work and you're like, oh god, they really dropped the ball. This is awful. That'd be disappointing or interesting.
I think it has to do with like what's your standing in the industry. Because I think like if you're like an up and comer, and like you are in a movie and it looks awful and you look awful in it, like you're gonna be worried because you're gonna be like, ah, fuck, am I ever gonna work again? But if you're like Meryl Streep,
we get jobs based on, how your last job was.
If you're fucking Meryl Streep though, who also is I think in Cats, and it looks goofy. I think she was like one of the most egregious examples of looking goofy in that movie that people talk about. Was she
one of the cats?
She was one of like the main cats that like
she played a cat in Cats?
She played a cat, yeah. She played Mrs. Cat. But if you're Meryl Streep, like you don't give a shit. Like you're just like, on to the next paycheck. I don't care. Yeah. I'm rich. I don't give a shit.
Once you reach, I feel like that was Meryl Streep doing her Julia Childs impression.
Yeah, it was.
Once you're Meryl Streep level, cats can't tear you down.
Yeah. So like I think depending on like I think for the most part a lot of the like because the actors they picked to be in Cats were all like big names. Like they got Idris Elba, they got James Corden, they got like Rebel Wilson. They got like a bajillion people who were all like that was a movie where the casting was done because everyone was like super rich and famous and name recognition. So no one who watched Cats was, I think, embarrassed. I think they were all just like on to the next paycheck.
Okay. Can't think of their names, so I'm not even gonna make this.
Not even the ants?
I was gonna say, that's what I was looking for. It's that little white spot there. What's his name?
Idris
He was the
Elba?
robot in Hobbs and Shaw.
I haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw yet.
He was in Pacific Rim.
Idris Elba?
Idris Elba, he was a cat.
Yeah.
And he should have been ashamed.
Idris Elba's fine. He's got that boasty money.
Idris Elba's better than this. No,
Yeah.
but let's get into that.
Idris Elba's like, what, you what, mate? Excuse me. I was in fucking Luther.
I'm a cat.
You think you can make Idris Elba feel bad? I was in Luther. I've already proven myself. And then he just starts freaking out like he does in... Have you ever seen the show Luther?
Yeah. That's what he does.
Freaks the fuck out.
Man, my don't know.
That's like the main... That's the main three things I know about Luther. One, he solved crime. Two, he have tragedy happen. Three, he freaked the fuck out.
I don't know anything about Luther.
I thought you just said you've watched Luther, or you've seen Luther.
No.
Oh. Well, why'd you say yes then when I asked you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe I misunderstood.
I
My headphones
maybe...
are kind of doing a
Oh, right, you did mention that, yeah. Well, we're gonna finish this drawing soon. We'll,
and hopefully I'll fix it on the break.
Maybe I worded my question weird. I frequently do that. We'll see.
No, you're like, with my headphones, you're like cutting out every so often. And I'm doing my best to, not make that obvious
Oh,
to
dear.
the viewers.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this a mustard bomb.
Ooh, or you can make it like a straight up bobber, like the red and white.
Oh, true.
Like a brighter red.
That's a good idea.
Like a Pokeball, basically.
Yeah.
Because they designed the Pokeball the way it was because you use a bobber to catch fish and you use a Pokeball to catch Pokemon.
You could be making that up, but that sounds completely legit.
I didn't. If I perfected the confidence of saying it a little bit better, then people would buy it.
That's not because I would totally believe that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
That's so brilliant. And there's so many fish Pokemon.
I was out on a boat with my grandfather, the creator of Pokemon, and he's like, how many fish have you caught today? I'm like, well, I'm trying to catch them all. And his eyes lit up. He took the boat back to shore so fast.
My uncle who works at Game Freak.
He sat down at his typewriter and he wrote Pokemon.
Wow.
And, here we are today. That's my grandfather, Mr. Game Freak. I changed my name to Chapman because I don't like the attention.
People were like, kind of like, oh, you have freak in your name? What are you, a weirdo? And you're like, no. I don't even like games. Hold on, I gotta look up how the bobber, like, is a bobber just like top and bottom? Or is it like a stripe?
They vary, but usually it's just like half and half, red and white, like a Pokeball.
Yeah. It is exactly like a Pokeball. Man, they probably you may have been making that up. That is probably legit though. I could 100% see that being the reason why they made Pokeballs.
Is that
like
style of bobber like a worldwide thing?
When I Google,
I don't know.
I don't know if it's worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. That's right, Pitbull. Mr. Worldwide. We take what's possible. We take what's the impossible. We make it possible. But I mean, the thing is, I'm sure that bobbers are the color that they are that pattern because of like visuals or like something about the fish and like how it's like how the fish perceive it too. So I could 100% see like this being like the same type of bobber they use in Japan, because I'm sure we also get the bobbers from like China, like made in China. Probably shit. So true. Like Probably I'm sure Japan also has a deal with China.
Yeah, there's definitely a bobber deal.
Yeah,
over on that side of the world.
I don't know if Japan has a trade deal with China. I don't know how the World War II fallout would. I mean, I don't know. But I'm just gonna Google it. Pokeball design inspiration. Oh, you know what? No, okay, so they're inspired by, like, you know those, like, machines, like, you turn the crank and a little ball with a toy inside of it comes out?
Can you say that one more time? Sorry. I won't make you do this.
You know those machines where you turn the crank and the little ball comes with the toy inside of it pops out?
Yes.
That's what they're designed after.
Wow, okay. I could see that.
Yep. Well, we learned something today. But we also figured out a new piece of misinformation we can spread on the internet. Let's make the internet a worse place, folks. Let's spread some misinformation.
There you go. Let's muddy it up. Let's
muddy the waters of truth.
I'm gonna save this, and then we can take a quick break, unless you have anything else to add to it.
I do not. No, we're good.
And I'm gonna fix my headphones so that I can go on.
Okay, sounds good. We gotta go on. So I just
want to say something real quick before we keep going. We're reaching the point where 112 episodes in, I went to go save this, and I saved it as Feesh, spelled F-E-E-S-H, and my thing said.
Already a file
that's already been used. So,
oh no, have we already done this exact drawing?
We actually did a fishing drawing about 10 episodes ago, I'm finding out too.
Oh my god.
This is like a different perspective. I'm gonna put it on the screen real quick before we go.
You know what? I think I remember the exact fish.
He's pulling up a skeleton with it, and he's mad about
having
a boot
on it. Yeah.
But for the viewers, I do want to put it up here real quick.
Oh yeah.
Maybe this takes place in the same time, and it's just from different angles. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the cinematic expanded universe of DrawBomb?
No, I was gonna say those machines are called gacha machines.
Gotta gotcha all.
Gotcha.
Oh no. Wow, the bombs lined up perfectly. I did not mean to do
They
that.
did. Wow, it's uncanny.
Wow. There's lots of layers here. Lots of things to unpack.
This is the before of that picture. This is the before that picture is the after.
There you go. So that's the one if it worked.
Captain Sheepy says, when in doubt, add more vowels. Absolutely right, Captain Sheepy. Vowels are necessary. There we go.
There it is. So yeah, so you can see you even gave the guy a hat.
Yep.
On a boat.
Well, I mean, it's the classic. It's a classic fisherman's hat.
Right. So, there you go. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I guess so. Start this episode. We have nothing to talk about.
Belbarock says, "Oh, the drawing where the fisherman has one huge leg." Correct.
Oh yeah, he does have a huge leg. Wow, we fucked that one up.
That's my drawing, so take it easy on how you describe it. But it was meant to be perspective. It was supposed to be the leg that's closer to you, but I see that it looks weird.
It's extreme. That dude's good. That dude's dummy thick.
He is.
That's a dummy thick DrawBomb right there.
Oh boy. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back in 5 minutes.
That sounds good. Bye.
All right.
I think I pressed the button. Are we back? We are back.
Oh, wow. We're back. What do you know?
Ooh, hold on. Bell Rocka is wilding out in the chat right now.
Oh my gosh.
She says, "Oh man, today someone messaged me on Facebook like, what would you do if you were cash apped $3,000 right now? What bank do you use?"
Shit.
And I was like, "Oh, you got hacked. Change your password." And the guy sends me a pic of his driver's license. Oh my. Was this like a person you knew? Or is this like a random number that texted you out of the blue? Because I've been getting like a lot of like, I deleted it. I wish I didn't because I could read it, but I got a text message at the beginning of the day today, and it like was just an attachment that I did not open, but the attachment name was like hot free sex or something like that, and I'm like,
whoa, free?
I know, I could have gotten some hot free sex on the phone.
Oh my god. Were these locals in your, or were these singles in your area? Or,
You know, they probably. I mean, I don't know how that would
or
work
would you
otherwise.
have to go travel quite a while?
I would hope they were single. You know, like I wouldn't. I mean, unless they were doubles. Like I mean, that can be fun depending.
Doubles in your area. Holy shit.
Dude.
My God.
Double.
Is that like Pauly Shore or something?
Something, I don't know, just like your classic 90s like creep. Based on Pauly Shore a little bit, but you know, Andy Dick's a little bit in there too. No, it's one of Zach's friends. So one of Zach's friends tried to cash app you $3,000.
That's nice of him.
Yeah, it sounds like a generous friend. And then they send you a picture of their driver's license just because.
Just to prove it's them.
Just to prove. It's very strange. Before we delve into that further, we've decided that we're gonna, you know how randomly generated imagery has been all the rage.
All the rage.
All the rage. So, Dolly, Mini, Midjourney, they've been making the rounds on the internet. And we figured why not use that for some inspiration. So Brandon, I believe you're probably drawing a prompt.
Oh yeah,
before,
I started a little bit.
You took a prompt, I'm assuming, and then you are drawing your interpretation of it.
That you brought up.
Oh, the one I posted?
Yeah, this is going to be my interpretation of it.
Your interpretation is Geiger Sesame Street. Okay, I thought you were gonna do. Okay,
So this.
I gotcha.
Oh, like we're each gonna do our own. No,
I mean, we don't have to. Like, we can do it this way too.
That prompt sounds fun. I want in too.
Yeah, that's totally cool. Yeah, let's do it that way. Okay. So I'm really interested in one of these H.R. Geiger Sesame Street guys. I think I'm gonna try and do the bottom right. But the
First
top
off,
left
which one do you
so
think
good.
is the most accurately hits the prompt? I have my opinion.
Man, it's so hard because they all hit it in different ways. Like,
Yeah.
if the
I think
bottom
top left is my vote for
top left is
accurate Geiger, the most Geigerish.
I mean,
I see a Muppet in there.
They all look pretty Geigerish. Top left looks the most like a complete character with eyes. I mean, top right is also a character I could see, like a weird brain in a jar, little spaghetti dude. But bottom right is hitting for me right now because imagine like that like animal's like facial structure over.
I like its vagueness.
Yeah, it's
compared to some
vague.
of the others.
But I can definitely see like a mouth in there. So I'm gonna take that vague one and I'm gonna try and like turn it into a finished, like finalized concept.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm just drawing my own interpretation of that prompt.
Gotcha.
I'm not copying any of these.
So we're both going about a different idea, but I think that'll be more fun. Yeah.
Journey.
Our own mid-journey.
Leviathan Den says, you sounded like the guy from Goofy Movie who says, it's the Leaning Tower of Chesa, which is Pauly Shore. So.
That is Pauly Shore, yeah. The character.
So we're on the same page here.
Mac, what does he say? Mac and the Chiswaz, or something like that.
He loves cheese.
He loves
his defining
Cheese Whiz.
characteristic.
I think there was probably a Cheese Whiz craze after the Goofy Movie, just a little, or around the time of the Goofy Movie, because I remember Cheese Whiz being like a hot, like ooh, Cheese.
When I was a
Whiz.
kid, I thought it was cool.
I thought it was cool as a kid.
Anytime
And I think
I
it was
had like a party with like a sleepover, I'm like, I want the Cheese Whiz, not because like it's really good, it's just cheese in a can.
It's cheese in a can, and I think the Goofy Movie definitely, like, as a kid, I was pretty obsessed with the Goofy Movie.
Great movie. Holds
A great
up.
movie, yeah. I watched it, I want to say, like, when Vine was alive still. That's the last time I've seen the Goofy Movie, and I feel like that's a very specific window of time. That's about a year and a half that it could cover. When Vine was a thing. Because I remember I was watching the Goofy Movie with, like, my roommates, and then I was just, like, fucking yelling at it and, like, making Vines of that. And that was it. Because I was basically spamming Vine. I figured it would be fun to do that. Mac and the Chase Whiz, and then he just like would fucking eat a whole entire handful of Cheese Whiz. But yeah, Goofy Movie is a great movie. Although it's funny because it's weird because it's a movie that's happening, it's happening, and then you're like, oh shit, it's a musical. And then they're doing a fucking musical number where they all sing, and like, there's visuals that go with the song, and you're like, oh right. Goofy and his son have to sing at each other now because they're sad and on a raft. But even still,
I don't mind musicals as long as the music's good.
yeah, the music in that movie is hot and cold for me. Yeah, we've had this conversation, but like, it's another musical we can discuss. So why not?
No, I wasn't saying like don't dig into it. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
I think we made our opinions.
It's fun to see, like, especially because it seems like such a case by case basis with me on musicals. Like, it's fun to when we realize that something is a musical. Like, for instance, the movie Walk Hard, that's a musical. Fucking love every song in Walk Hard, and I love Walk Hard the movie.
There's a lot of great like musicals that you probably love. Honestly, I get that you don't like the majority, but
I like Across the I like Across the Universe. The movie is like a Beatles musical, but fucking hated the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes are terrible. And then, like, if you can survive through that, like, it's actually great, in my opinion.
Have you ever seen Blues Brothers?
Yeah, I love Blues Brothers. This is a great movie, great musical. Every song, and that's a fucking banger.
They also brought in, like, some of the best musicians of the time, you know?
Dude, I watched that movie in, like, the last 3 years, and, like, like most of the musicians in that movie are dead, and it's so sad.
Well, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, super sad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the movie is, like, 50 years, almost 40 years old at this point. Yeah. Maybe 35 actually, because it's like I think it's 85.
And a lot of them were older when they were in it. But.
Yeah. Still.
I think it's got Ray Charles in it, right?
It's got Ray Charles. It's got Cab Calloway.
It's got Aretha Franklin.
It's got Aretha Franklin. It's got James Brown's in it.
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
Such a great lineup in that movie. They all kill it. Like Cab Calloway is in it. Like I'm so glad they have Cab Calloway in it too. Like. I don't know. Cab Calloway is dope.
Good flick.
Yeah, it's a great movie. So yeah, the Goofy movie. The songs in that movie are very hot and cold for me. I think the song where they're sad and on the raft doesn't. I'm not about it.
I don't remember the song. I know that it's a musical, but I haven't seen it recently.
Yeah, it's not my favorite song. But then like that song by the guy who like the son Max is very like a big fan of. That song's pretty dope. It's funny because that movie is definitely like, it's like in the 90s and it's that period where Disney was like, gotta appeal to these hip young kids. I mean, they're always appealing to the kids, but like they're trying to, like they were specifically trying to kind of like make Max like the cool Goofy. What if Goofy had a cool son you liked?
Right. Hey, Goofy, the most
fucking
dopey
Goofus
character in the whole...
His name's literally Goofy.
Mickey cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Well, his son, is not following his father's footsteps. Although there is like a point where like Max is like,
yeah, the whole point of that movie is like Max specifically not trying to be his dad, which is actually, that's I think what makes the movie hold up is that the movie like you don't realize it as a kid, but as an adult you're like, ah shit, this movie's about some real shit though. It's about how you don't want to be your parents, and like that's a real thing. The proportions of this fucking Muppet are, I think I'm fucking them up.
Real quick, Bubba Rock says, I wanted to watch the Blues Brothers again, but I forgot. I don't rightly remember what happens in it. Basically,
they're on a mission from God.
They're on a mission from God to put the band back together, and that's like the whole thing.
That's the entire movie.
Sense, but it's great.
It's a great movie. It's way better than it's funny how like Saturday Night Live has about like a 50-50 ratio, I want to say, for movies that were good coming out of like a one-off sketch they've done, or not a one-off sketch, the Blues Brothers, they did a lot.
Some of them are more closer to one-offs, but
yeah,
Blues Brothers was a pretty popular sketch.
Yeah, but it's just interesting how like what their track record is for the SNL cinematic universe.
There's some of those movies that had no right to be made.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, this will carry a story for 90 minutes. And you're like, what? You made a Pat movie? I've never seen that one.
I haven't seen it either. You made a Night at the Roxbury movie? The entire sketch is they headbang to a song. That's
was
the sketch.
Al Franken had a character that was like something Smalley, and he was like a weird like therapist talk show host thing. I can't remember what his name was, but he was like this really like he talked with a lisp, and he's this goofy character, and he's like, people like me, and like he did this whole thing. But then no, it's not Pat. Pat is Pat is like probably it wouldn't fly today. That's about a gender ambiguous.
Oh, is that the gender ambiguous person?
The joke is that nobody knows whether they're a guy or girl.
Yeah,
That's
I remember
joke,
seeing that. Yeah, I remember that sketch where yeah, it's outside the bathroom. They're just waiting to see what bathroom Pat goes in. Yeah, that sketch does not hold up. That is not a very PC
unless
sketch.
It like leaned into it in a way that was more like.
You know what?
Fuck you don't need to know.
It would have to take a person who has a better idea of like.
The joke couldn't be. Oh, we don't know. That's not the joke. That can't be the joke anymore.
It would have to take like I wouldn't know what would be the right way to tackle that joke. It would have to be somebody like it would have to be written by somebody who is more like capable of speaking on that sort of subject than because like
for sure.
I'm a cis straight white dude. Like I'm not like I shouldn't. If anyone's gonna try and bring that joke back and like make it like work today, like it's not me. It ain't me. It ain't me. But yeah, I know who you're talking about. Like the people.
Before we move on, the Al Franken character is like this.
I'm good.
It's like a silly character,
Yeah.
and then they made. I watched the movie because I forget who brought it to me to watch. But anyways, it's like a drama.
Really?
And it's like people are like crying and like all this like.
Oh my God.
It's not. I didn't think it was that good, but it was just like, why is this so serious? It
That's
has no
such a
right being this serious.
Strange direction to take
strange.
that in. What's funny is that I'm pretty sure that Al Franken used that character's like tagline thing as like his campaign slogan when he became a politician. Like I think he like Al Franken's thing was like, "Gosh darn it, people like me," and things like that. I'm smart enough, I'm good enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. I think is
Right. Could be.
what he says.
Weird.
I still can't believe they made a Night at the Roxbury movie. Like that's literally like the entire sketch is that they bang their head to fucking What Is Love.
I actually liked that movie. I don't know if it holds up, but I liked it as a kid. I watched it a lot. You could argue that maybe it's just the talent involved in making it, like in it, like Will Ferrell,
Chris Kattan. Chris Kattan, who existed for a while.
He's out there somewhere right now, I imagine.
He's most recently.
Maybe he's one of the 4 people in watching our stream right now. We don't know.
Maybe he's not. He didn't most recently do this, but he did recently, like in the year 2018. I want to say, like sometime around then, acted in a movie that was like a short, like hour-long film that was based on the creepypasta, the Russian sleep experiment.
Oh, you were telling me about this, but I have not watched it.
I haven't watched it either. I mean, I'm not gonna. Like, it's an hour-long movie. It's an hour-long independent film about the Russian sleep experiment, like starring Chris Kattan as a Russian guy. I'm sorry. It's you really gotta
Russian.
You gotta find me in a mood to want to watch that. Not that the Russian sleep experiment wouldn't make a really interesting film. I just don't think like what I've seen and heard about that particular interpretation is gonna
Doesn't grip you.
Not gonna make me want to spend an hour on it, but yeah, Chris Kattan, he's out there, he's doing stuff. Here's the thing, Chris Kattan actually, I read this, actually injured himself doing a movie of some kind. I forget what, doing like a very minor stunt, but he actually like I think broke his neck to some degree, and like
oh Jesus,
has been very like he has a hard time like moving quite as nimbly nowadays. So like. I think maybe that's why we don't see him, because like his comedy was very physical, if I remember, like Corky Romano and things like that. He was like constantly getting hit in the nuts and like just getting nut shots all day in that movie. I'm pretty sure that movie's on Hulu. I wonder how terrible that movie is. I mean, even as a kid, I knew it was trash, and I still liked it. Like, when I watched it, I was like, this movie sucks, but I fucking am gonna watch it 6 times. But yeah, yeah, poor Chris Kattan. He did. I can't say with 100% certainty that I'm speaking about the right person, but I'm pretty sure that Chris Kattan is the person who hurt their neck. Has been less mobile. Fortunate. It's unfortunate too, because like you have these celebrities and they're in the public eye, and then like the moment something tragic and like awful happens to them, like obviously you don't want to make that public to the world, but then you just kind of disappear and everyone's like, whatever happened? And then like a lot of star power is momentum. Like you have to like be like up.
Your
Like
name
you
has to be something that people know.
Yeah, you have to be hot in order to like be getting those big properties. Like you ain't in a Marvel movie if you're Chris Kattan. Like not unless like James Gunn hires you to be like a weird one-off character that people end up really liking. Like you're not gonna be in a Marvel movie for Chris Kattan. And it's like it's a momentum, and it's like like Chris Kattan, I'm sure, like probably had to take a big ass break if the neck injury thing is. I should just fucking Google this if I'm gonna act like it's a like Schrodinger's Chris Kattan neck injury.
Well, we hope Chris Kattan.
Yep, he broke his neck and injured his spinal cord while performing a sketch on Saturday Night Live back in 2001, when he threw himself backwards on a chair while doing a parody of the Golden Girls sitcom.
What a bummer.
Yeah. So, broke his neck. But NBC, well, here's something interesting. Okay, so that's the top thing is realitytidbits.com. Chris Kattan revealed blah blah blah, broke his neck. All this shit, I literally just read that sentence verbatim, so that's the website. And then if you scroll down, interestingly enough, I mean, this is the only example I'm seeing that's casting any doubt on that. But it says, and this is Variety, so take that with as much credence as you give to the rag Variety. But NBC and staffers have no record of the injury. Is interesting.
There would have to be people, unless it was like a sketch rehearsal, people who had seen it live too. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be on TV if it happened, not during a rehearsal.
It would have been on TV. You would have. I mean, you can't break your neck and it not be apparent. I feel like if you break your neck, like that's gonna be pretty noticeable, almost like right away. And if it's not, then you're just gonna be exacerbating the thing you want to break the least. You know.
Is the neck the thing you want to break the least?
Neck and spine. I feel like those are two of the top three at least. Neck and spine, and a third one, head.
The things that I want to break the least are my neck, my back, my pussy.
Your pussy and your crack. Chris Kattan announced he's going to be on Celebrity Big Brother. I mean, you know what? He was on Dancing with the Stars. You know what? Good for him. Get what you can, man. Wish the best for him. Okay, so he says that he was quiet about it. Had I known how everything would end up, I would have been better off saying something as opposed to being quiet, because I thought it would get in the way of work. I don't know. I don't want to. I mean, it sounds like he probably did actually break his neck. I don't know why he would lie. Like, it's not like it's gonna it's not like it's gonna change the trajectory of his career at this point. I don't know. Oh, our video's frozen again. Keeps doing that. Anytime I have to Google something.
Dallas Quinlan did redeem draw Willem Dafoe, which I will get to after I'm done drawing my Geiger Muppet.
You know, there are plenty of Willem Dafoe AI generated prompts that we could definitely
That's true.
plumb the depths of. So we could definitely make Willem Dafoe work with this exact segment we're doing. Uh-oh, why is my cursor being such a jerk? There we go. Okay. I would like put my cursor over Discord and it would disappear and I'd be like, huh? Let me get a good Willem Dafoe prompt for me just ahead of time. Even though I'm taking forever on this Muppet because I'm Googling if Chris Kattan ever actually injured himself because I'm fucking...
We're 100 and... I'm not saying this as a criticism. I love the way you work, but it's funny to me. We're 112 episodes in and you have a tough time talking and drawing. Yep. Which is the whole show.
This is why we need to bring guests on more often, is because I get a lot more drawing done when somebody else can take the reins a little while.
I mean, I talk and draw. Dallas Quinlan says, what is the prompt for these boys? This is a H.R. Geiger Muppet, basically. Yeah. Up top in the left is one of those... I forget what the name of that one is.
Mid-Journey.
Mid-Journey,
we have access to the Mid-Journey Discord.
Computer-generated, like, things you've been seeing on the internet lately.
Would Junji Ito,
snap.
Willem Dafoe fit with? Fuck yeah!
wanna-
Oh my god!
I wanna draw that.
want to draw that so bad.
Do you still have Midjourney credits, or do you use all yours?
I mean I don't, but here's the thing. I've been talking it up, and I could put $10 into it and get like 200 more images, and then like throw some keys around.
You can see what Dali came up with for that.
Yeah, Dali but I mean either way, I'm gonna draw a fucking Willem Dafoe, Junji Ito. That is an amazing prompt. That is so fantastic.
Good job. Happy to have you, Dallas.
Yeah. Thanks again for joining us. Much appreciate.
Bella Rock says, "Wow, Brandon, that's terrifying." Well, yeah, that's what I was going.
I will finish my Muppet
And
before I get to.
I did
Dali.
figure in that Muppet in the top left too. So.
All right, Willem Dafoe, Junji Ito style. All right, let's see how that comes up. Let's see what Dali thinks. Oh, hey, it didn't tell me the track was too high. Either their servers are accounting for the heavy load, or people are not as enamored.
Yeah.
That's the thing about like people getting like worried about these AI and stuff like that. Like, I'm not worried. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Not worried.
Yeah. I think what it is people are still going to need to get that human touch to their art to some degree, but it's definitely going to like lower, it's either going to lower the amount of like people who are like bad clients who like have unrealistic demands coming to you.
People that have no money that are they're going to go to the free thing.
Yeah. Or
Get something that's not as good.
if it's like a bad client and like they can't figure out what they want, like they might just come to you and be like, hey, look, this is like the thing, what the thing came up with, this is the closest. Like it might just help a client have a bet. Like if you have a client who like doesn't know how to like because I've had so many clients like say just contradictory ideas and like want them all thrown into the same drawing, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta fucking really like manage this like gap in like these diametrically opposed things. But with like if a person's able to generate something on an AI that looks close but it's got like horrible deformed faces, like yeah, I can redo that and make it look right. But like I know what they're like trying to do now.
It's a great point, and I hope that's its main.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic.
I mean, I'm sure that like we're gonna see every application under the sun, and as the oh man, this is fucking hilarious. The results. These are just like if they took Willem Dafoe and then they swirled his eyes around like it was like they're like half doing the Uzumaki for Willem Dafoe's eyes. It's not quite doing it what we want, so I'm gonna try again. Willem Dafoe in the drawing style of Junji. So I'm gonna try that again. But yeah, I'm sure that we're gonna get like a lot of. I'm sure that like with the AI, as many people as it's going to help, a lot of people are gonna use it like for, you know, cynical, selfish reasons, and you know that's just gonna come with the territory. I don't know.
Any new technology gets used for evil too.
Yeah.
But it'll be
So-
fine.
Well, we'll see.
Gubbo Rocket says, people tell me all the time that my job is going to be totally automated in 10 to 15 years. People who say that have never worked with robots, though. Truthfully, they're shit stupid. Yeah,
So true.
we're not there yet.
We ain't there. I mean, here's the thing. It's very funny. It's very funny. Well, it's not a horror Muppet, first of all, to answer your very newest post. It's cute, but it's not horror. It's just supposed to. It's gonna look all ribbed and like the thing about H.R. Geiger is texture. I think he's a very textural artist.
Yes.
If there's ever one thing you take away from H.R. Geiger, it's like ribbed. Like everything looks like it's been like put through a ribbed condom filter.
It's all ribbed for your pleasure.
Yeah. Which is why like the results you're seeing are all spaghetti and like looks like a penis made of spaghetti and looks like a bunch of like horrible like pustules. He's very textural, and it's about like just getting that like what's like the most unpleasant sensation you could feel under skin, and it's probably something ribbed and bony.
Like body horror and weird.
Yeah. So I gotta make this Muppet just a little bit more ribbed for your pleasure. Not your pleasure specifically. I feel like I should specify, but ribbed condom filter. Yep. Dallas Quinlan says, as a guy who works at the Pictures of Walter White Smoking Weed Factory, I'm pretty worried about this AI art thing. That's a top comment. I'm gonna, you know what? There's a new highlight comment feature. I'm gonna see if I can highlight that one.
That man a trophy.
Yeah, I wish I could give you money for that fucking comment. That's fucking hilarious. I don't know how to highlight a comment. I don't know how they do that. There's a chat highlights. Okay, how do I highlight? How do I?
Well, we'll figure that out later.
I've actually looked into this and I still don't understand how to do it. Whatever. Look, that fucking made me laugh. That honestly, that sums it up perfectly though. Like, people are gonna use this AI to like it's just gonna make memeing even, like, it's gonna make the meme arms race is gonna also like turbo speed from like these AI art generators because like Walter White smoking weed can now be done. Like,
it's gonna be meme singularity.
Yeah, it is the meme the memelarity. It's something's gonna happen. Like, memes. Here's the thing. I think it might break memes. Is what it's gonna do. is because
everything's right at your fingertips. Is it even subtle or funny anymore?
Yeah, like if everyone can make every meme, it's like the Incredibles. Like, if everyone's a super, like, is anyone a super? And that's how it's gonna be with memes. This is like, if I can make Hank Hill, like Van Gogh style. Oh, this is a much better Junji Ito. It's still not there. It looks like it was put through a posterization filter, but it's better, and it's still Uzumaki eyes. But whatever, we're gonna deal with it. But what I'm trying to say is, if you can make like Van Gogh, Willem Dafoe, and it's gonna look perfect, like, what's the point of making some of these memes, you know? Like,
a lot of the memes are funny because somebody's paired a random image that already existed with a punchline.
Yeah, or like,
if you can just dig up the exact image you want.
Yeah,
it takes away a little bit of that.
A lot of the humor with memes, I think, also comes with the fact that, like, oh fuck, a person spent time making, like, if somebody were to make a beautiful painting of Doom Guy, like, but he's posed like George Costanza in that one photo of him, like, in his underwear on the sofa, but it's Doom Guy, and like, you can make like, if you see that painting, the funny thing is, like, one, it's that Doom Guy, you know, doing the George Costanza pose, but two, it's like, you're like, the underlying humor, I think, from all of it is like, somebody spent probably 2 days of their life making this, and that's so pointless and funny. And like, with the AI, it's gonna take that element out of it. So like, at some point, like, it might just kill like, it might kill that sense of humor in us, where it's like Nigel Thornberry, but he's in the Metroid suit. Like, I don't know, now I can Google that and it's gonna look amazing.
All your like things you've been spitballing, it would be great. Promise. I want to see them.
I don't remember what I said.
Nigel Thornberry in the Metroid suit, and then you said Doom Guy in the George Costanza sexy pose, and I want to see both of those.
It's a type right now, I guess I'm going for, because it's both like, well, my camera, both of them are like people in very like intricate mech suits, like doing things, which I think is I think that's because I think you spend a lot of time like working on a mech suit, like trying to draw that's going to take a lot of time. Anyways, those would be fun to draw. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna kill memes, obviously. That's like going overboard, but I do think like these AI art generators are going to have an interesting impact on the way meme culture works, because of just what it's gonna do to the effect of, I don't know, am I making sense here? Am I fucking like sounding like
I'm following you. Like, you're losing some of the like some of the part of the joke, I think, sometimes, like you said already, is that like the fact that somebody created it, took the time.
Like, I think anything I would try and say to extrapolate upon this would just be me saying the same point over and over again, because I don't think I can. I think I've said my piece.
I think I made my point.
Yeah. I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time knowing when to when I've made my points and I can stop. You know, I always feel like I need to.
When I start hearing myself say the same thing like for the third time, I'm like, okay, we got there.
Yeah,
the most of my ability.
I'm not sure if like that's definitely I feel like a learned skill is to know when you've said enough.
Right.
Also, ribbed condom filter. Why was that the first thing you thought of? That's not the first thing. I've known of H.R. Geiger's works for a very long time. That is not the first thing I thought of when I see an H.R. Geiger picture. That has been the image, the mental image in my mind every time I see something by H.R. Geiger. That is not, that was not an off the cuff like comparison.
H.R. Geiger.
Is that? Do we know what he sounds or looks like? Do we know anything about?
There's a I forget what it's called. There was a sketch podcast that used to be on that isn't on anymore. Had a lot of good people on it.
Matt, was it with Matt Gorley? Was that?
Yes.
Was that? Spontaneous Nation.
No.
No. Was it the other one that they do with
Mason
the
Adventure Hour or something like that?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But he came to Comedy Bang Bang once or twice, but yeah, that H.R. Geiger character that he did sounded that way, and I have no idea if that's what he actually sounded. But
yeah, here's the thing. Like, I would immediately go to
it.
I would go to a German accent because Geiger just sounds like a German name. But I don't truly know.
I don't either.
Gotta pound that joke into the ground. You're absolutely right. I mean,
you watched the show before?
Yeah, that's what we do. Like, if a joke is still funny by the end of the episode, like, we're gonna fix that.
We haven't done our job.
Yeah. I promise, Dallas, I will get to the Willem Dafoe. I'm sorry this Muppet is taking me so long. I'm terrible at talking and drawing at the same time. It's never gonna get better.
We're not computers.
Yeah, that's right. We're not Dolly Mini. We're not Midjourney. Midjourney is making some fire fucking renders though. I saw one today.
Definitely another level.
It was like Robot Samurai. Like the Midjourney on the Discord, they have a theme for every single day. So today's theme is ukiyo style, which I don't know what exactly would define ukiyo specifically, but I know it's a Japanese artist. That's the most I can give ya. But the one was like a fucking like neon cityscape, or not neon cityscape. It looked like a, like, you know, the like rising sun imagery like at the beginning of Samurai Champloo, like in the opening credits, like that kind of look they got going on. It's like that, but it's like Robot Samurai, and it's so cool looking. And it's like somebody like spent the credits to upscale it and like get it like nice and like rendered really high def, and it just looks so cool. And it looks like gibberish because it's like it's like very impressionistic strokes sort of stuff, but like you can tell what it's going for, and it's so fucking cool. And like that's the interesting thing, is like it's always, all these AI art generators are always like kind of, if you look hard enough, like the images it's making are never like, it's like when you like try and remember a dream. It's like there's
that's the way I've always been describing them, is they're very dreamlike.
It fills in the gaps that like with your mind shape. Yeah, with vague shapes. And I don't know if it's ever gonna get better at that. I mean, clearly if you put Willem Dafoe in, it will.
I want to say, if you looked up, so Dolly Mini is the one that is available to everybody, but have you looked up Dolly 2? Like some
I
of the
have
stuff
checked out that. Yeah, I've
some
checked
of them
out
are
that
like
website.
photoreal.
Yeah.
Some of the ones I've seen.
Well, I've only seen like their website where they're advertising Dolly Mini. I haven't like seen if they've posted.
I've seen some posts that people made who like are in the thing.
Into like the beta test.
Yeah. It's like, oh damn! Like somebody was like a cat wearing a hat, and I'm like, that's a photo of a cat with a hat on.
Yeah. Which again, I mean, you know, I don't want to draw that.
Exactly.
Somebody else can pay money to fucking Dolly to get that done now, and I don't know. And it's also going to be intriguing for us as artists, or like us as people who like have, like, there are so many ideas I have in my mind that I just will never have the time to like do on my own. So if I can make a robot, like if I could pay a robot like $100 and it'll render out like pretty much a comic for me, like when I type in descriptions and things like that, like,
right,
my life has just been easier. I get my work out there, and if I want, I can like since I'm an artist myself, I can touch up the images or like go back and redo them, but like someone's already did like half of the hard work of making a picture is like structuring everything, like getting it all there, getting the elements in the right place. Like it's not doing the final line art, like that's just like tedium.
Right.
But like the real brain power is in like, where do I put this shit? How do I let these people know that this represents sadness? It's hard. It's not easy, and that like is the
Hard
real
to do.
that's like the hard shit. And then the rest of it, like, I mean, you know, the famous painter de Kooning, like they had arthritis and like maybe Parkinson's, that they weren't able to hold their brush and like keep it straight by the end of his lifespan. So like he just had like a bunch of like people that he paid. He would say like, here's my idea, sketch out some points, you guys fill in the rest. Like, you know what my shit looks like, go ahead. Like, that's not new. Like, that's like basically like the AI is like that, but now you're not paying a bunch of art students to like who you take credit for them. Like you use a robot. Like that's like what DALL-E 2 and what all these robots are doing is not any different than like what famous artists use, like not ghostwriters but like ghost painters, just to do all the shit they don't feel like doing. Like they want to like be like, I have an idea, here's the sketch, here's the pencils, and then they pay somebody else to paint that shit anyways. That happens all the time. That happens so frequently.
Everybody's going to be fucking what's his name, pop artist.
Oh, Andy Warhol.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be Andy Warhol. Like,
yeah.
Actually, that's actually pretty apt, being everybody's prompts involved like Garfield and Homer Simpson. And
exactly.
Shit,
like yeah.
Like you have a factory at your hands to make the art you want to see.
So I'm not, you know, honestly, what these robots are doing, if you contextualize them a little differently, it's just, it's you know, if you can, I mean, I'm sure it's not a one-to-one comparison because you paid a bunch of people who were artists to work on your stuff. They got experience. I'm sure they probably went off and became, you know, successful artists, or some of them went off, became successful artists themselves. Robot can't go off and like, you know, learn from its, I mean, I guess it does. It's a machine learning algorithm. It's not a perfect comparison, but I don't think it's like when people are like, oh my God, you know, I'm gonna, you know, this is gonna, I'm not worried. I don't know. Maybe I'm have too optimistic of a idea about all of it too. I could be completely off, and it could just completely, like, in 10 years, DALL-E Mini could be the new corporate overlord of all of us.
Could be.
But, you know.
Who knows? But, yeah, if people are interested in what this is possible, look up DALL-E 2. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's like another level above.
So yeah, the meme wars are going to be crazy, and I just think it's going to make, I do think it's actually probably going to, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of implications for AI generated art. I'm not worried. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm more excited than I am worried.
Same. I'm excited to see, you know, how good that technology gets, honestly.
Yeah. And I like, if I can pay $100 and just like throw, like, I've got 80 notepad files of comic ideas, like, written out in various stages, some from like start to finish, some all planned out, that I'm just like, I'm like, this would be cool, but like, it's not the thing I need to make right now, you know? Like, you ever feel that?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, there's projects that you can work on, there's projects you have ideas for, but like, one project has got to be picked, and it's going to be the one that you think is most meaningful to you in one way or another. Like, either it's going to get you a job, or it's going to be the best test of your abilities, or it's just the one that you like. I mean, one's going to get picked.
Yeah.
So I think what these robots could do is, like, if you're a person who has ideas like that, like, you can just fucking have the robot make that shit, like, do most of the heavy lifting for you, and then, like, I don't know. I think what's, you know, with that, we're always complaining about how there's like so much stuff to read, there's so much stuff to watch, I mean, that could be an issue. Like, the content hose could just like be cranked up even higher. Like, it's like a content fire hose at this point, but you know, good artists will be able to like pump out more of the good stuff, especially in their prime when they're still generating like these good ideas. Or maybe we'll just see like are heroes for the humans that they are, and that they have a bunch of terrible ideas that weren't worth making. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, for a prompt generator, that's definitely a good feature. And also, I wonder, like, hopefully these programs aren't like anything you search within DALL-E is ours.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm sure
buy
that's.
and sell.
Well, I'm sure like you have to. It's going to depend on who, you know, who's the.
What if you're using the premium version or the.
Or just who owns the robot.
That's true. That's true.
You know, I mean, who's to say that?
Rocket says, I failed to see a downside to it. It'll change your art, but so did Photoshop.
Yeah, 100. That's a great point. Absolutely great point.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got smart people watching this show.
We do. That's one thing about this show is like it's us talking and we really have to fill time. So half the time I'm saying like opinions that are half formed or half thought out, and I'm like I just wonder like if I were to go back, like how often have I said something where I'm just like, what the fuck, you dumb shit.
Well, you know.
Almost all the time. Right? I mean, every episode I come on and I'm like, so about that thing I said last episode. You know?
You run it back. Your character is looking like a animal.
Yeah, that's what I had in, like when I see that, that's what I see is I see like an animal like in it.
That's fair. I went for the
I like your interpretation now. It's you're going face hugger, but you know, what if you had the puppet? You know, what if your puppet was? Yeah, that's funny. And then that makes a really weird situation where now he's gonna birth another puppet out of his chest. So he's not only gonna have a puppet on his arm that's wrapped around his neck, but he's gonna have another puppet.
It's gonna get all twisted up. And then maybe when you're all said and done, you're one of those weird Muppets like the chef that like has human hands.
Oh yeah. He's gonna.
I guess he didn't have human hands, but he just had like full on just like
didn't they
gloves, but they were hand sized.
They had like hands
Somebody's
underneath.
wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Felt gloves that are like acting.
I think
somebody puppeteering the body.
Here's the thing. I think they did use human hands for a while, and then they probably realized that it was really creepy, and then they switched over to the gloves. I think that's actually like I think that's how it went for a while. Because I'm pretty sure if you watch an old enough Muppet thing, I do think that there's a human hand look to it, depending.
It's spaghetti.
I could be completely wrong about because I mean, you know, I'm so frequently wrong in terms of memory. Okay, so my Muppet is pretty much done. I'm sorry it took so long, everybody. I will draw Willem Dafoe. Dallas Quinlan, if you're still here, we love you and appreciate you, and I'm sorry it took so long.
I'm gonna draw it too, because I love that prompt.
I do love that prompt. That is such a fucking good prompt. What was it again? It was Willem Dafoe.
It was Junji Ito. Willem Dafoe.
And I do have DALL-E's my latest results.
I want to see that just as like a quick like, you know, sketch. Give me.
Yeah, I think the bottom right ended up being the closest. Hold on, I gotta go to a different layer. I also hate my voice. I know while we're talking about things, I don't know. I like listen to myself.
You have a beautiful voice.
When I hear myself talk in my own head, I've got like you know, when you hear yourself talk, your bones are vibrating off of your own face, and you get like extra bass in there. Like you get like a different amplitudes and stuff.
I like my voice in my head better than I like it for real.
100% me too. And like when I hear my voice in my head, I hear, "Hey, how's it going? This is me, Ian Newton, and we're here with like the smooth jazz." and then when I like hear it in the recordings, I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Ian." Like those are two extremes, but obviously I need to make a point. But that's
I think
what
in your head it's a little bassier, it's a little lower. That's the main difference.
Yeah. A little bassier, a little lower. It sounds less nerd nasal. I get very nerd nasal sounding. It sounds to me like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
You totally do. What a garbage voice you have.
Yeah, worst part of the show.
All right.
So I think
I'm trying.
Bottom right, I think, is the most closest to what Junji Ito drawing Willem Dafoe, I think, would look like. I do think it's going to help us if we get some.
What's the story?
I mean, didn't Junji Ito legitimately do it like a visual like reinterpretation of The Lighthouse? Didn't Junji Ito draw like a comic of The Lighthouse?
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the
hope
lighthouse. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Junji
Whoa.
Ito has
So
drawn
this
Willem Dafoe.
exists.
This exists.
we don't even need to make this. This
There
has
it
been
is.
done.
Junji Ito
Wow.
is our own Dolly Mini.
Wow. Beautiful.
I mean,
God, I love
that's-
the internet.
Yeah, that's so fucking good.
I feel like I mean, I want to do it for Dallas, but like, do we even draw
Yeah.
it after?
Here's another one. I mean,
How
He
can
just-
it be?
he's just. I mean, first of all, Junji Ito just fucking kills it like every time. Just nails it.
That's a great illustration right there.
It's just good shit. That's just good shit. So here's the thing: we can't do the lighthouse. We have to do a different Willem Dafoe.
Okay. Dibs on Spider-Man.
Good choice. Good choice. Okay. I'm gonna do American Psycho.
Oh yeah, he is in that. I was about to be like, he's not in that. I would be very wrong.
So I'm gonna put my reference up on the screen. You don't have to either. Oh wow, the music got super loud all of a sudden. Jesus.
Huh. Maybe they're at different levels, the different songs.
They are for sure.
Okay.
I should put a compressor on them to keep them around the same. I'm gonna do that right now because I'm cheating the numbers. I have the numbers. I have the stream up on my own thing. Also because I can test to see if it's still working. But yeah, I just heard that shit come through real loud. Did not need to be so loud. Fine. I probably could have fucked the sound up just now, but we'll see.
Let me know if the sound is good. Keep us posted. I'm always messing with the sound. Let us know if the sound is...
Can you shrink your or scoot
Scooch?
your Muppet just a touch? You don't have to shrink. Your Muppet do a slight scoot.
Where did I put him on? What? I put that Muppet. Okay, I thought I tried moving that layer, but okay, let's try. What? Okay, so this program, one thing that bugs me is if I make a selection, I have to make. It's like you have to make the selection per layer.
Yeah.
So I drew this. Oh wait, you're drawing.
I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, my bad.
No, I was moving my Muppet over for you.
Thank you. You're
There
here.
we go. Okay. What's so
Last
uncanny?
drawing of the episode.
Yeah, this is definitely the last drawing of the episode. What's so uncanny about it? Is his mouth too wide? He's so uncomfortable looking in that movie. I think because he represents like a manifestation of Patrick Bateman's paranoia, like kind of come to life because he's investigating him for like these murders.
That is his face.
That is his face, but I think they shoot Willem Dafoe on a fisheye lens in that movie just to kind of amplify an uncomfortableness with him. Like they picked Willem Dafoe because he's such an interesting looking character, I think. And because I think they shot him with a fisheye lens because every time he's like interviewing Patrick Bateman, it's a very uncomfortable moment because Patrick Bateman thinks like the walls are closing in and like they shoot him with that fisheye
Right.
to kind of not all the time they shoot him with a fisheye, but they do that like at least particularly in this photo we're looking at. Although if I look at the other things, he's like they always shoot him very close up. They get real close to his face because I think they want you to be made uncomfortable by his presence because he's supposed to represent sort of, you know, somebody trying to find out your secrets, you know? I'm not going to pretend like I know all about the symbolism
One
and
of those
stuff in
movies
that movie.
like I feel like the person who made it is not totally sure either.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I think when people like get meaning out of art, I think a lot of times it's thought that it has to be like intentionally put in there, but there are so many like movies that have unintentional like like symbolisms in them, either through the artists or through the like creators' unintentional like what's that? Man, I'm having a hard time with subconscious kind of like things coming through, or because of like the era or like how we see that era after the fact, or you know, modern sort of sensibilities applied to a movie after the fact, you know, kind of makes it seem very different. So, you know, there's a lot of movies where, like, there's really, like, smart and intelligent sort of, like, underlying themes that seem to be going on, but the guy who made it might not even be aware. I don't know. And especially movies, like, since movies are...
a lot in books, too.
Books a lot, yeah, because, I mean, books you just write...
I remember English class where the teacher's like, clearly in this scene they meant that the red rose on the counter symbolized life and death. And I'm like, okay. Like, I see what you're doing, but I don't believe that was all intentional. Like,
yeah, that's actually that's a meme on the internet. Is specifically it's like the drapes are blue because it represents sadness, and then like the meme is like the student's like, no, the drapes are blue because the drapes are blue. And it's like, to an extent, yes, I agree, but also like it's a Chekhov's gun sort of situation. Like in a movie, if the drapes are blue, like, you know, the drapes are probably blue because it looked good for the scene, it looked good visually. I mean, fucking Breaking Bad is a very color-coordinated sort of TV show, so, and that's a TV show where the drapes being blue is actually symbolic a lot of the time. But if you're like writing a book and you mention how the drapes are blue, and if you're not like talking about a lot of other visual details, there's probably a meaning behind the drapes being blue. I don't know.
Right.
But it's a case by case basis. Like, I mean, I think a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying always.
Yeah.
Sure. A lot of times it is intentional.
I think I've definitely,
because of a lot of times it's intentional. People are always searching for those things, and then sometimes they're finding things that aren't actually there.
Yeah, it's like the song "I Am the Walrus." Like apparently, and this is, take this with as much truth. Like I've seen so many artists say one thing about their work, and then like years later say a different thing. So who knows what the real story is ever. But, the Beatles, John Lennon, I think, said he wrote the lyrics for I Am the Walrus because he found out that teachers were dissecting Beatles lyrics in school and, like, trying to find meaning in them, so they wrote a gibberish song.
That was true.
Yeah. Which I respect that. But yeah, I think sometimes there's meaning there, sometimes there's not. It's hard to jam-pack meaning into every fucking, like, nook and cranny of your story, so if, like, people are, like, ascribing meaning to every single moment of something, maybe not, I don't know. But also with film, it's different, because film is such a collaborative process. Like, there could be one person, like a person who works in wardrobe could be putting meaning into, like, a costume choice that the director doesn't even realize, but, like, as a wardrobe person, it totally makes sense to, like, make that choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the director, like for in Game of Thrones, I don't have any specific examples, but like there could be meaning behind somebody's like fucking armor, and the director might not know because I don't know armor.
Right. It takes like a whole village to make this.
Yeah.
Show. Question. So you went to art school, as I did, and you had to do a lot of extensive critiques. I'm sure, because that's like the main shtick.
Yes.
Have you ever, in a critique, had somebody suggest what you were going for as the thing, and then when you heard it, you're like, fuck, that's good. Yes, that's what I meant to do, and you're lying? You ever done that?
So I was never, I was always too honest to like get away, like to pretend like I meant that and get away with it. I've always been like, damn, that's a good idea, but I've never tried to like, as far as I can remember, I've never tried to act like that was the idea I had in my head, but I've definitely had people, I've had situations where people have come up with much better meanings than I had for my thing, and I'm like, fuck, I'm an idiot. I've also had like one situation where we were specifically supposed to make a picture that was like full of symbolism, and then I showed it to the front of the class, and everyone was like, oh wow, I think this means this, and I think this means that. And then like I let everyone talk, and then afterwards I explained everything I said, and like I could just see everyone not care immediately. Because I think what's also interesting...
Were just hoping to hear that they won, and that they guessed it right. And the moment they heard that they didn't, they're like, I don't care anymore.
I think people like to speculate more than they like to get the actual answer when it comes to...
For sure.
Symbolism. I think when you get like the voice of the artist telling you what it all means, I think it kills that mystery. Like, because I do think, like, I can think of, not specifically, but I can think of like a number of stories vaguely where like the artist who made it said something about it, and I'm just like, hey man, shut the fuck up.
I like this way less now than I know what you were going for.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, I don't know. Death of the artist is important. People often lament when they're... I mean, here's the thing. I think there's all, like, I think it's better when you leave mystery, but I also know that sometimes an artist has every right to clear the record. Like,
well, I mean,
like,
I think some people are interested in knowing what the intentions were.
yeah. Or like, for instance, like Friedrich Nietzsche, like you wouldn't think, like, he has a book called Ecce Homo, which is like kind of, if this is the book I'm thinking of, I couldn't read all of it because it was very clinical and I just couldn't get through it, even though I like Nietzsche's writing in general. But when I was reading Ecce Homo, it's like sort of where he just describes like what each of his what a lot of his like writing is about, and like just kind of like getting into it. And I think that's important because Friedrich Nietzsche like went crazy from syphilis and then died, like, and like his sisters were Nazis, so then like they like took his writings and then restructured them to like kind of fit Nazi ideology. So I think it's good that like he wrote Ecce Homo, because then you could kind of like, it lets him sort of have on the record like, hey guys, not a Nazi. My sisters are, they fucking suck. I just went crazy from syphilis. So that's a situation where I think it's a good thing the artist had a chance to sort of explain what was going on.
A rare situation. It's not often that your sisters are Nazis, but it happens.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah. Art is complicated.
Yeah, no, I've had, it is. It has only happened like maybe once or twice, but I've had critiques where somebody like just suggested something. I'm like, damn. Yes, you got it. Yeah, throw this guy, give this guy an award. He guessed my very deep, subtle secret concept for this piece.
Good job.
That's what I meant to do, and I just
you understood my genius.
I just you know, totally stole their artist statement that they created for me.
Hey, I mean, art is what you can get away with.
I honestly can only think of one time that happened, but it was just like so like the thing they came up with was just so perfect.
You had to use it.
Yeah.
I'm too goody-goody. I'm too straight-laced. I couldn't do it.
I don't lie very often. In fact, I'm usually pretty bad at it. But for that, all I had to be was like, they're like, were you going for this, and this? And I just went, yes.
That's how it goes.
But no, it's not normally my shtick. It's just that time it went that way.
No, I feel ya. I mean, I do also remember you were trying to get us to do the Joel Haver movie before we knew it was kosher.
Well, I just assumed, I was just pretty certain, like, if I understood the concept of the thing he said solidified what I assumed.
No, you were absolutely right. I just, I wasn't
me trying to scheme. It was just me being like, well, you don't you try to sully my good name here.
But I wasn't comfortable with it until we had absolute certainty, which I'm glad he extrapolated on. It was like, the unfortunate thing was I just would read all of his comments, and like he would never say like he would never say like film it in 3 hours. He would always say film it in 3 hours during the Oscars. Like, he always included during the Oscars whenever people would ask for like specifics about like the rules of the competition. So I was just like, so he's pretty set on the Oscars thing. I don't know. But yeah, you were right.
All right, I'm just happy the movie got made, because
Me too.
It's very fun, and I'm very proud of it.
Me too.
Willem Dafoe didn't quite look like one, but all right.
See, I try to draw, like, at first, whenever I have reference, and this is apparently a common problem with artists, is I end up trying to adhere too closely to the, like, if I'm looking at the reference, I end up just drawing the picture, like, without, because, like, you can't just draw a reference picture. It's never going to look right. You have to sort of stylize it, because you're making it out of lines. It's already stylized in a sense. Like, you got to just kind of bridge that gap.
Yeah. And sometimes I get too far away from my own style if I'm hyper focused on the source.
Yeah. I'm also terrible at trying to like copy styles. Like I'm not good. Like this is not gonna look like Junji Ito when I'm done with it. I try to do like Samurai Champloo and BoJack Horseman style because I forget where like that joke came from. Somebody said something like about Samurai BoJack Horseman, I don't know. And so I tried to do like the characters of Samurai Champloo like if they were in the show BoJack Horseman, and it just looked bad. It did not work.
I've done some of that stuff before that I've been happy with, but it's not always easy.
It doesn't come easy.
These styles really contradict each other.
That made me worried too at first for a while because I'm like, okay, well I'm trying to like get some jobs in animation because that would be nice, but like if I can't copy a style, isn't that like gonna be a huge problem? But I talked with somebody who's been working on the Beavis and Butthead movie, and they were like, dude, we like get a style sheet, we just trace that shit. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Carly Cartoons, by the way, check out Carly Cartoons stream. They're very fun, very cool, and they work on the Beavis and Butthead movie. They haven't streamed a whole lot lately. Neither has Pendleton Ward, which is where I ended up running into Carly Cartoons, and on Spew streams, but yeah, Pendleton hasn't streamed lately. It's kind of a bummer. My Willem Dafoe's looking a lot like Jim Carrey right now.
They have similar things going on.
Jim Carrey is like if Willem Dafoe is like if Jim Carrey.
It's one of his characters.
Yeah. Jim Carrey could do a good Willem Dafoe impression, but also Willem Dafoe is like the non-comedic Jim Carrey. It's like if Jim Carrey like took that energy from Ace Ventura and put it into like dramatic acting. Although that's actually more like Nick Cage.
Yep. Funny thing, I think both Nick Cage and like Jim Carrey's one of their first movies was together.
Really?
Yeah.
What movie is that?
I think it's called Space Girls Are Easy. They both play aliens.
Oh. Interesting.
I've never seen it, but it looks super weird.
Is it Isn't it Earth Girls Are Easy?
Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah. I've heard that phrase before and I was like, oh, that's clever. I've heard of the movie, I've never seen it, and I didn't know who was in it.
I think I'm correct. Way off.
There's in the movie Heavy Metal, there's it's like a bunch of different like sketches in one movie. But one of the sketches is like a bunch of aliens going to Earth to try and like pick up chicks. Kind of sounds like the premise of like what that movie would be about.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it's about.
Although the Heavy Metal version is like, the movie Heavy Metal is you know, it's of its time. It's super 80s. And they were like, fuck it, we're turning the sexism and misogyny up to 11, but also the cheese is up to 11.
I haven't actually seen it, but I've seen like how South Park makes it.
Oh yeah, South Park does have that episode where they make fun of it.
Kids are buffing Cat P and it takes them to the heavy metal world.
Yeah.
Hi.
An improv. Wait, one sec. Leviathan Den. Oh, we have a couple of things. Hold on. What's so uncanny about it? Is his mouth? Oh, we were there. Leviathan Den says, I'm out, and then they redeemed a posture check and a hydrate.
Thanks, Leviathan Den. Thanks for watching.
If someone says draw some symbolism, I am suddenly a simpleton who can only draw super literal. I feel that. And then Bella Rocca says, Ian's drawing the Joker, which is true. Yes, I am. Not trying to, but it's just happening. I've drawn much better Willem Dafoes than this. I gotta start over. This is not Willem Dafoe.
You have no time to start over. It's 10:20, my friend.
No.
Well, you can keep it. You can go
Yeah,
for it.
we can do the outros, but and then Dallas Quinlan, who's still in the chat. Thank you for sticking around. We appreciate it. Sorry it took us so long to get around to these really not good Willem Dafoe drawings.
Hey, I'm liking mine now. You just don't.
Yours
don't
is good. Yours is
put me
good.
in
Yours is good. I'm sorry. Yours is good. Yours is kind of like the Mark Trail Willem Dafoe, though. I'm gonna post a picture of Mark Trail, the old Mark
I'm
Trail.
honing in the Willem Dafoe qualities.
They got a new artist for Mark Trail who does a great job actually, and it's decent. But your Willem Dafoe is it's part Mark Trail, part Jack Chick, part Mark Trail, part Junji Ito. Yeah, the new Mark Trail is decent. But no, old Mark Trail is fucking hilarious. Have you ever, are you familiar with Mark Trail?
No. I was just across the basket.
So, these used to be in my newspaper when I was like a kid. And like they were still making these like in the 90s, but they look like they were like, it's like the 50s vibes. Like it looks like they never grew out of the 50s, and like Mark Trail's like he's like a nature guy. He like has a cabin out in like the middle of like a nature preserve. I think he's like the guy who like he's like the ranger or whatever. Like, and it's just the adventures of Mark Trail in the wilderness, and like sometimes he had picnic with family. Sometimes he punched guy in face for fishing in wrong water. At one point, I saw him taste cocaine and say, "This is cocaine," and then punch a guy in the face. So sometimes
he's a conservationist, is what Mark Trail is.
He's a conservationist. Sometimes he don't want you to fish in lake, he punch you in face. Sometimes he don't want you to sell cocaine and punch you in face.
And he looks like Superman.
And he looks like Superman, and like no one ever talks in notice how every sentence that isn't ending in a question mark ends in an exclamation point. No one ever doesn't emphatically say something in Mark Trail. So this is Mark Trail. Mark Trail used to look like this up till about, I want to say 3 years ago, but they actually got a new artist and like a new writer. Like they basically got a new people to do Mark Trail altogether.
Is it like intentionally what it is now, or is it like?
It's much better now. It's funny. Now it's more, now it's taking itself a lot less seriously. It's still kind of keeping the same vibes, but it definitely knows what it is. Like here's actually a recent comic from, this is actually them making fun of the old Mark Trails.
Oh wow, yeah, it's definitely a different artist.
Yeah. So like Mark Trail is a little bit older now. He's kind of more goofy. He's allowed to be silly now. I've read it. Like I used to read Mark Trail as a kid because like I used to read them as a fascination. I always thought that they were goofy as shit, and they made me laugh.
The entire like comic section of the newspaper, like all the weird ones too, like that are shitty.
And so I always thought it was funny, and then like I saw that they'd gotten a new artist for Mark Trail, and I read a lot of it because it was kind of like, it was weird seeing something like that I thought was funny as a kid like take this new approach, and I was like, you know what, this new Mark Trail is pretty good. It's not bad. I don't know, I'd read it. I haven't like read all of it, so I don't know if it holds up like after like the initial like new artist stuff, but I don't know. I ain't mad at Mark Trail now. I mean, I never was mad. I have a cartoon on Newgrounds where it is called The Adventures of Mark Trail. I made a little animation. Should I show it real quick, and then we'll do the outro? Sure. I'm not drawing Willem Dafoe. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just not.
I'm gonna finish mine.
Yeah, go for it. I'm sorry. I fucked up on my Willem Dafoe, and I hated it.
I'm starting to like how mine's coming along.
But yeah, see, like
some Willem Dafoe levels finally.
Here is Mark Trail with a conservation award, and then he broke his conservation award. Sorry, what were you saying? I cut you off to talk about Mark Trail.
Oh no, I was just patting myself on my back. My Willem Dafoe starting to actually look like Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, it is. But yeah, so he was a conservationist and a ranger, and he stops people from cocaining. But yeah, Mark Trail.
Why is he dealing with cocaine so much if he's?
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know how often he's dealt with cocaine. I just know at one point, I remember it was like they checked out somebody's cabin. He put like his finger in the cocaine, put it in his mouth, and he's like, "This is cocaine." And I'm like, how does Mark Trail know that? And two, what the fuck is Mark Trail doing? I thought he just thought like literally like a month ago, he punched a guy in the face for fishing in a lake. He wasn't supposed to fish.
This is out of your jurisdiction.
Yeah. So I don't know what Mark Trail is up to, but I do have a comic or an animation called The Adventures of Mark Trail. I'm gonna show it real quick on screen.
Yeah, do that.
Here, I'm actually going to just share my screen. I don't know how to make this work. Here, one sec. I know how to do this.
It's your idea.
Yeah,
Come on,
I got it. I got it. So here's here's the window. Newspaper comic strips are a little before my time, but Heathcliff still rips hard, says Dallas Quinlan. Just zero regard for sensibility. Oh yeah, they are. Just zero regard for sensibility or IP law. That's right. Heathcliff is still. You know what's funny is they've also brought back what's that one? The Sluggo, like the girl with the spiky hair.
Nancy,
yeah. She has a new artist too, and like a new writer, and like Nancy is also killing it. No, Nancy's fucking funny.
I've seen Nancy and it's great.
If you had told me like 10 years ago that Nancy and Mark Trail would both come back and like honestly be bangers, like I would not believe you.
Better than they ever were originally.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah, and like here, I'm just gonna put, like, I have one Nancy banger that I have saved because I'm just like, fuck, this is so clever. I'm never gonna be this clever. I'm just gonna post it because I don't care. This is my show. This is our show, but this is my show also.
As the worst part of the show, I allow you to.
I get away with what I can.
Do whatever you want.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So hold on, we're gonna go back. Sorry, we didn't start the thing yet, but this is a Nancy strip from the new Nancy. Straight banger. It's a straight banger. It's still. Why isn't it loaded yet? Come on.
I see it.
You see it? Okay. I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? It's because I minimized the. There we go. Yep. Whoa. Uh-oh. Hold on. I fucked up the screen. One sec. There we go. Nancy's on the screen. Straight banger. I don't know if you can read it, folks. I'll zoom in for you. On this Nancy banger.
That is a banger.
New Nancy producing bangers. This is what I'm saying. I don't know.
That's quality. That's some good writing.
That's fucking good. That's a class act comic strip right there. So yeah.
She has some Deadpool abilities for this one.
Yeah, she does. Insanely good, says Dallas Quinlan. I know, right? Like when I saw that, like this comic was actually how I realized that the new Nancy had a new writing team and artist and etc. And like the new art is interesting because it's a lot more like, it's almost like clip art looking, but it works. It works for like what the vibe of the comic is now. But yeah, Nancy and Mark Trail producing straight bangers, and they were not making bangers like 10 years ago. But anyways,
I have no right.
I have no right. So yeah, Adventures of Mark Trail. I made this comic back in college, like freshman year. So like this is from 2010, February 27th, 2010. Yeah, it's got to do the whole. Yeah, okay.
And now for the exciting continuation
hold on.
of the adventures of Mark Trail.
Hold on. That's right. This is hold on. Oh, my brain. This is producing double sound. This is like making double sound. I think it's making double sound for everybody. I gotta mute my mic. I'm sorry.
I only heard one, so maybe like take your headphones off and play it or something, so your brain doesn't explode.
No, it was playing on the computer, but also playing through my microphone, so it was doubling for the viewers. I have to turn my mic off.
Sounds good. I don't know if it's working or not. I'll be quiet.
Oh, sorry. What was that? You know what? Sorry. What did you say?
I couldn't tell if the sound was working. I was trying to get the page to reload, and I couldn't get the stream to work for me. So it might be on my end, but.
I mean, it was definitely playing through my microphone because I have it set to play Windows sounds through my mic, so that you can hear anything that plays and things like that. No double audio in sight. Glad to hear it, Dallas. Thank you for the heads up. Much appreciated. So that was the Adventures of Mark Trail. I made that back in back in college. That just shows how much I liked Mark Trail back in the day.
It definitely left an impact on you.
It did. It's funny the things that, like, if you think about, like, I don't think about Mark Trail like every day of my life, but when I think about like the impact Mark Trail has had on me, like, and my psyche, it's real. It's very real. I don't know why.
You didn't hear it on stream, by the way.
It didn't play on stream. The audio?
That's what I'm saying, man.
I saw. What the freak? Okay, let's try that again, I guess.
The first time there was no double audio.
All right. I don't know what I have.
For
how
the rest of us.
All right, folks. I could swear I was doubling the audio up. Try this one more time, and then we'll end the show. Sorry, this is such a fucking roundabout episode today.
And now for the exciting continuation of the adventures of Mark Trail.
Mark Trail! Ducks are overpopulating the forest!
Damn you, nature! Damn you!
Top Cat! The most effectual top...
And that's the Adventures of Mark Trail.
Who'd you get to do your voices?
That was all me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you alter your voice to make the really low one?
No, I didn't change my
Wow,
voice at all for any of
impressive.
those.
I've never heard you do a voice that low, and I've heard you do a low voice before.
Yeah,
That's on another level.
if I did do that voice, I may have lowered it by 2 pitch twice, but I'm pretty sure I didn't.
You're just hearing yourself in your head and thinking you're capable of this voice that I'm not so sure about.
I guess so. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm not gonna make you do it live, but you know.
Damn you, nature! Damn you!
All right, that's your voice.
And now for the exciting continuation of the adventures of Mark Trail.
Sorry for doubting you.
Maybe a deep cut, but are you guys familiar with Mike Detective at all? I listened to all of Mike Detective. I was very sad that they didn't do a second season. That show, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like Rob Hubel, and he's doing like a character. He's like a shitty detective, like an audio show, like an audio play. I listened to all of it. If it's what I'm thinking of. Brandon's looking confused. I think he's Googling it.
My Twitch isn't working. I'm just
Oh, okay.
struggling.
Yeah, absolutely rips, super tightly written. I agree. I thought it was very well done. I really enjoyed it. I was really bummed they didn't do more of it, but I loved the crap out of what they had. And speaking of things that people have, Brandon.
Yes.
Do you have anything you want to plug?
I don't.
Oh.
Nothing to plug. I need to get some things to plug.
You do, man. What the hell?
I'm looking like a right fool on here.
Jesus.
You know, DrawBomb, Mondays at 8. It's a show I do. It's great. Check it out. You're here now, so you already know. Yeah, that's right now. A lot of my things I'm working on are like personal, not personal, like small projects. You know, nothing too big. So nothing really to tell all you fine folks about. You know, follow me on my social media. See my stuff there. In the meantime, I'm pretty happy with this Willem Dafoe here. In the end,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
all things considered.
Is that
Still
him in the
not
Northman?
perfect. I was trying to do him in Spider-Man, but it doesn't. You know,
Yeah.
it's not. Clear enough.
It looks a little bit like Patrick Bateman, and like it looks a little bit like Christian Bale. I can see a little bit of Christian Bale in it.
Okay, well, that was not the goal, so god damn it.
Sorry, I don't mean to shit on your
No,
art.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, put it on the
No.
show. But yeah, 1,500 points, very well spent. Thanks, boys. Thank you, Dallas Quinlan, for being
Yeah.
here, being a top comment, an A-class
What a delight.
commenter.
You won best comment of this stream.
Yeah, that shit made me fucking laugh
A new
super
award
hard.
we'll start giving out every episode.
We should do that. We should do best comment. That would actually be kind of
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be good.
Would people like that, or would y'all
do
get
that.
too competitive? Like, would that make an unfair atmosphere for this thing?
We'll see. Let's just start doing it.
Yeah, we'll just start.
We don't have to announce it. We'll just at the end of the episode drop it out. People will forget about it by next Monday, but we'll give out that award.
I think that's a good idea. So you got nothing to plug?
Nothing to plug. How about you? I know you got a little album coming out soon, right?
Coming out tomorrow. By tomorrow,
Wow.
honestly, by midnight tonight, you might be able to hear it. I don't know for sure.
I knew it was coming out soon. We had some road tripping to do the last few days, and I was like, oh, I bet it's out. And I went to go look for it, and very disappointed.
No, it's coming out tomorrow.
Yay.
It might be out in at least 3 hours. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Cool.
But yeah, it's 53 songs, 2.5 hours. You hear a lot of them on this fucking show. They're probably the quieter ones because I set the LUFS meter to -12, like how Spotify likes it. That was a whole rabbit hole I went down a few months ago.
You always just play. You just do whatever Spotify wants you to do.
I'm a slave to Spotify. So yeah, but new album coming out. It's gonna be 2 hours and 12 minutes of music exactly. Not like maybe like a couple seconds here or there, give or take. But it's not more than 2 hours 12 minutes, nor is it less. So it's in that range. But it's coming out tomorrow. It's the most significant musical release I'm gonna do for a long time because it's like the last 7 years of my best songs, a lot of my best songs, not my best songs, but like a lot of the songs that I made that were any good in the last 7 years, they're in there.
Very exciting.
Yeah, the album gonna be linked in the Discord. I'll be sure to actually. Thanks for reminding me. I'll be sure to link the album in the Discord. I was gonna pump it up in everywhere anyways, and I was gonna do a little bit of a spamming spree once it came out, but I'll be sure to put it out. Thanks for reminding me, Dallas. It sounds like you're interested in checking it out, and I appreciate you. You've been very cool. But yeah, so that's coming out. Also in Michigan and Pennsylvania, my friend Lee Thompson, he's doing a thing called a Short Fest. I've been thinking about what shows I'm going to be able to make it to, and I think it's going to have to be... Whoop!
Whoa.
Did you do some undos?
I didn't do nothing. The whole server like did a weird reset.
Yeah, that was weird. Maybe it cached too much. No, thankfully I didn't, but I did not lose anything. Anyways, yeah, so Short Fest. Feel free to drop me a ping in there. More than down to check it out. Thank you so much, Dallas. I'll be absolutely sure to. Thank you so much. So you're so nice. Yeah, Lee Thompson's Short Fest. It's happening in July 7th through the 9th, I believe, are the dates. Michigan on the 7th, then Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh on the 8th, and then Philadelphia area on the 9th. Very excited. I was thinking I was going to make to all the Pennsylvania shows, but like Pittsburgh is a 6-hour drive away while still somehow being in the same state of Pennsylvania. So I'm
That was
not...
unfortunately what happened to me too for the Michigan show.
Is it really far away?
It's a little trek.
Damn, that's unfortunate. So yeah, it's just it's not gonna probably work out for me to make it to the Pittsburgh show, but I'll probably make it to the I'm trying 100% to make it to the Prospect Park show, so that's looking good. Tom Fulp's gonna be at one of the shows, so is Mark M. The Kevin
That's
Smith
cool.
Comic Shop is donating prizes because they're on board with the mission. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have a short in there. Tom Fulp's gonna have a short, so is Mark M. That's how they're gonna be there. I'm not sure if they're gonna be at the actual festival, but their shorts will be there. So is Skinner, very well-known artist. Skinner is gonna have something there as well. Should be very cool. I'm looking forward to it. My friend Lee has been working so hard on it, and it would mean a lot if folks who can make it could make it, and if you can't, I understand. But just try and spread the word. God.
Sounds great. I've been following on. Yeah, follow them on like Instagram and stuff too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff they're posting about it.
If you look up Lee Thompson art, you'll find them, and then you'll be able to find Short Fest. I'm sure if you look up Short Fest, you'll be able to find that too.
Yeah,
They have their own special account for the festival because they like to make it an ongoing thing. But yeah, that's all I can think of. Check out The Adventures of Mark Trail on Newgrounds.
yeah, watch it again.
Watch it again. You don't have
Those numbers
to.
up.
You've already seen it. It's 5 seconds long, and the credits are longer than the actual cartoon, and that was half the joke.
Love it.
Yeah. This is my
Great.
Junji Ito
Well,
on Willem Dafoe.
That's good. I like that too.
Major
Willem
Newgrounds
Dafoe.
plug. Sorry, what was that?
Said Willem Dafoe qualities, you know, are there for sure.
Yeah, I gotta get that like cheek. The cheek is important. Let me get a little bit of that hair in there. Okay. Anyways, I don't know. Are we good? We did it. We did the episode.
I did it.
We did it.
I did it.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Dallas Quinlan, once again, thank you so much. You've been super awesome every time we've had you on so far. You're a new friend and you're a great friend. Balbo Rocket, long time, first time, long time. Not even first time, but thanks for being here. Leviathan Den, thanks for popping in, making us drink water, making sure we're healthy and regular.
Appreciate it.
Captain Sheepy popped in. Thank you so much, Captain Sheepy. You're an MVP. You've been with us for the DrawBomb since the beginning, which I think is 6 years ago, because
Wow.
you know, we started this 3 years ago, and we started this 3 years after we did DrawBomb the first time around. That timeline makes sense to me, right?
I think I'm gonna agree. It seems like too long, but then every time COVID, I'm like, oh yeah, there's like 2 years there
Yeah.
that I'm not counting for that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Could be.
So, thank you to everyone for joining us. Doing the show has made COVID easier because you know it's something to do. Could you imagine?
Sure.
We didn't have DrawBomb.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What would we all do?
Probably spend our Mondays doing something else. Anyways.
Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye everyone. Sorry for being so bad
Same
on the
time,
worst
same
part of the
place.
show.
Oh my god. You know what? I think I'm the worst part of the show.
No, we're faded out.
Oh shit. Oh god.